Alrighty. I think it's live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have gone over the pledge. We have covered everything this morning. You are dealing with Boeing halting orders for some of the Chinese airlines. So we got to deal with that. We do have a trade deal on Wednesday with Japan, or we're going to be hearing a live negotiation. And then all of those pharma chip tariffs we were talking about yesterday, there was a little bit more of an investigation into that. So that's what we got here. Otherwise, the theme about this being slower, the theme about permanent damage or not, and us kind of crawling after this crazy volatility, that still remains. So we'll see where it plays out. Some of the earnings so far this morning weren't bad. Again, I don't know a couple of names like J&J. They said some bad things, and then they went a little lower, but their earnings was good. Again, Kroger, I think they were down like 4%. But they ended up doing good. My bad. I forgot to adjust the screen. So point is, we got a lot to deal with, but you are juggling a few different things now. Trade policy is going to be more important, and we are waiting for that. But I hope you guys see everything from now earnings, the VIX falling. We're kind of changing pace. So we'll see if any headlines come out, if anything else happens. But I think tomorrow we have way more events than today, but we will see where it leads us on Tuesday. But Chattadonia, that being said, we got 3 minutes. If you got any plays, now's the time to post them. I'm going to be watching Tesla, Netflix. You guys know Tesla and Netflix are not pricing in that much. It's still a lot, but it's only about 5% compared to 10%, which I thought was interesting. Bank of America, Hormel, they got a nice upgrade for value. Watch the material plays. We're going to have a play in the money, even though we ghetto spread it at. And then Dow, they had bad earnings, and then J&J, they were bad earnings, but they might do good. So poster plays in the chat. I need to go pee, though. So if there's not commercial propaganda, I'll read the plays.
30. We'll talk more about it in a bit. No, opening bell in a few minutes, and don't forget, you can catch.
Okay. All right. I'll be here.
The Open is up next. This is
okay. Never mind. Plays. What do we got? Poster plays. I'll go pee afterwards. What do we got, baby? Let's go. Wake up. Apple calls. Let's go, baby. UVXY after Euro close. Amazon 190, 475 QQQ. Do you guys know it's some of the most QQQ volume ever? Did you guys know that retail is going insane on the QQQ? That reminded me. Boeing puts, Pinterest, 33 June calls, Netflix calls, Bull Short, MSTR, UPS 120 call, Palantir calls, sitting on hands, MP calls, Apple calls, calls on the Peach, KO calls, Apple, NVIDIA, Tesla call, Tax call, Buenos DS, Google 116, NVIDIA calls, secured the long-term deposit, NVIDIA 115, 417, TLT 516, Amazon calls, head on a swivel, Hood, Long Gold Futures, head on a swivel, Bank of America, sitting on hands, good morning, Chadley, Apple, watching banks, looking at earnings, Apple, SPY price action, SPY puts, JP Morgan calls, Apple pop, and the final plays. TSM calls, Tesla shares, Nike for the long term, and I got a Canada headline. Canada to provide temporary 6-month relief from counter tariffs for goods imported to the U.S. that are used in manufacturing, processing, food, and beverage. Wow. So much. Wow. Okay, NVIDIA Apple pop right now. Yeah, I see the SPY going up. I don't know if it's on the Canada stuff, but yeah. Apple and NVIDIA, good morning. Good morning. You guys have the wire, right? Yeah, so they're coming up 6-month relief with Canada. I don't know if there's added news to that. Canada announces performance-based remission framework for autos designed to incentivize continued production and investment in Canada. Wow. All right, I'm going to play this ad. I'm going to go to the bathroom. It's an ad. I'm going pee. I have to go. We only have 1 minute.
And I continue to like that trade, so we're holding that position. And again, when you see kind of the micro and macroeconomic data coming out of the U.S. and you see the data in China, I think you will see a tactical deal out of economic necessity between China and the U.S. And I think when you look at investors generally, they've left China for dead. So I think there's going to be money forced into that market.
From the world of politics to the world of business, Joe Matthew and Kaylee Lines deliver news, insight, and analysis live 2 times a day, every trading day. Balance of Power at 1 and 5 Eastern, only on Bloomberg. Get your fixed income fix. Watch Bloomberg Real Yield every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on Bloomberg.
All right. Round 1. Fight. All right, my friends. Good luck. Good luck. All right. I want to see where that ghetto spread is. It sucks. We ghetto spreaded the TMC, but those are in the money now. But that's a short one. Watch out for Apple, though, in NVIDIA. See where that goes. Did I already send out the plays? I think I did. All right. And then watch out for some of the, some of the values. Some of them had earnings. Again, Kroger, as well as J&J. So we'll see. Damn, those TMCs went. Yeah, so those TMCs, $2 to or 20 cents to $1. But the ghetto spread, oh, you still got a decent amount. Nice. So you got an extra 150 between the ghetto spread. You get to walk away with extra 150%. Not bad. I'll take it. I'll take it. Again, some of the apples, too. Some of those apples are lagging. Those GMs from yesterday. Those are moving around too. Meta dump, MP went up. All right, hold on. I was looking at those. Watch the Boeing ones too. But again, I think the Boeing and the chip stuff, or the Boeing and the pharma stuff, it was a little bit muted. Again, we talked about it a lot. But the pharma one, small reaction, and then again, Boeing is only down by 3. But watch if Boeing gets worse. That one could play. And then again, J&J, Kroger. And then there's a couple of the banks, Bank of America and Citi. So don't forget about that. Bonds, they're only down by a quarter. Honestly, it's kind of a smaller pre-market move than what we have seen as of late. All right, I'm going to chill on some of those for a little bit. Let's see where these are at. Airbnb up. Again, the GM and the auto plays, they kind of slowed down a little bit. How is that up, actually? All right, I'm kind of down. Let's see. We got to go slow. I don't know if today's going to be individuals or if it's going to be like the other ones. Elliott said to build $1.5 billion stake in HP. That's coming out now. Again, watch HPE. They're already up 5. So HP's going. You guys are saying the chips are starting to move up. So watch out for that. JD. Welcome, my friend. MP dropping. Those plays ran up a lot. All right, watch some of the values. I started with a value. That is it. Oh, some of those old Macy's. I forgot about that. Good morning. All right, yeah, NVIDIA, Palantir, HP went up 4 on that. I don't know if that one's going to hold up. Again, Elliott building a stake. Boeing falls 2%. And then again, you had that Netflix guidance news. What the hell is this? Oh, did those not film? All right. Okay, I'm going to chill. I only made 2 plays. I started with a value. I played one of the hype plays there, but kept it very, very small. But other than that, I want to see some of the spies. But if we start moving slow like yesterday, I wouldn't force it. Like we talked about, if the premiums do come down, that'll be the kind of the benefit of all of this. But just make sure you don't get caught up in it. I will tell you, though, individual names look a little bit more aggressive. Like, look around right now. You're only up by like a quarter on every index, but there's a lot of different names that are moving 2, 3, 4, 5%. So I think individuals are there. I started off with 2, but yeah, I'm not going to force it after yesterday. I think we got to be ready to move with the market, fast and slow. So if the market wants to slow down, let's chill a little bit. So we'll see. MP, the TMC, that one came down. Remember, there's Omex. That's the other one we played the first time. I have some dead options on that one. And then Boeing is just chilling there. Meta, they're down barely, 0.03. NVIDIA came down. Oklo, remember, they had that government contract the other day. Is there a way to know if the market moves slow besides looking at price action? Not really, to be honest. I think that's a very good question because every morning it's aggressive. Every time you wake up, they call it the cash open. That's where the real money starts trading. So every morning and every close, there's always going to be activity. So it's hard to tell if it's slow, but generally it's like you kind of determine that throughout the day, volume, spreads, and then again, ultimately the price action, that'll tell you if, speed and how we're feeling. Tesla, big pop. Yeah, I actually like the Teslas. Remember yesterday, all the autos, Tesla was the only one that didn't move with it. About Gen Pop? We're in Gen Pop. Oh, Jake from State Farm. Woo! Hey, man. Good morning, baby. How you living? And Spy with a little popper. Okay. So not bad. We'll see if this holds up. Again, yeah, watch some of the banks and tech. I'll give you guys a checkup here in a little bit. It's only been 8 minutes. RKLB selected to advance hypersonic capabilities. I think that was in the morning. But yes, they did get a government contract. Oh, those apples chilled out a little bit. Oh, what? Damn, they clapped those out of the money ones, the ones that we ghetto spreaded. So those came down a little bit. Those TMCs are still holding. Yeah, and then we'll see if Tesla actually wakes up. Tesla was moving a lot more, but Tesla's going green right now. So that's either going to fade or hold. Meta's starting to move again. Spy near the high. No, MSTR and Mara are very different. Ukraine military says it hit a base of Russian missiles. But yeah, remember, MSTR is because they own the Bitcoin. That's what really, really helped them a lot. And then Meta is getting some big candles. But then again, Mara owns Bitcoin too, but I don't know if they're going to sell bonds and leverage it and God knows what else. Oh, yeah, dude, you're right. That is a great reminder. These weeklies don't even count. So, yeah, literally all of these weeklies are on Friday, so you're buying less time. Keep that in mind. We haven't gotten above this level, no shit. So, again, this level here, the 5447, you don't have a gap today. I hope you guys noticed that. So, today's not one of those days where we have a gap down or you don't have a big gap to fill, which I think is, again, another one of the different ones. Pfizer pop again. Meta's $4 there. J&J starting to go down. I think I saw someone. I thought it's another J on the high ticker then. Face Ripper. It's still small. That's it. I mean, don't get fooled. But is it possible we get a Face Ripper? Of course. But at the end of the day, I'm worried about velocity right now. I just want to make sure we actually have the right speed or that it doesn't get pulled. But for now, it's only been 10 minutes. It's looking decent. It's only 0.5% though. So keep that in mind too, though. It's still very small in that sense. Netflix, yeah, they're killing it. Netflix about to double the pre-market gain. Again, Netflix had a guidance last night, or there was a Wall Street Journal report on them doubling subscribers, revenue, net income. So again, that's actually really running ahead of earnings. Again, their earnings are tomorrow, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, that's why there's no Friday expiration, because of the holiday. All right, well, let me see where these are at. I'll shop, but I don't trust it. Oh, shit. No, these premiums are actually kind of low. But I just don't know if we're going to have follow-through. I'm not going to play them. I could call out some, but I'm not going to touch them. I need to slow down. I went with 3 individuals today. That's what I've only made 3 plays. Pfizer up. Very low. That's what I was saying. I think it might be Easter. That's why I kind of want to chill. So yeah, Friday though. But in a weird way, I think we still could go up. I mean, yesterday's watch list, we talked about the silent bottom. You know, in a weird way, too. Look, do you guys not notice something? The VIX is now below 30. So, again, these little things, the fact when the speed is slowing down, this is actually saying a lot. Yeah, coin did just have a candle, $1 down. Good call. So, but yeah, coming into the holiday, it is a little chill. Keenan, what up, baby? Yeah, and then you get the buybacks after Easter, too. But all of this slowness, I mean, just, again, things haven't gotten worse. And then bonds doing nothing, SPY up. Again, literally, bonds break even. You got 0.6, NASDAQ and SPY. 10 years still kind of recalibrating. You're off of the lows, but you're still now back to this level, kind of like December to the beginning of the year. Which, again, yields are still sensitive. I don't think the bond market is still questionable. I mean, you've had reassurance by Bassett and a couple of others, and now you've had this pullback of policy, but the bond yields are just still elevated, and they still just highlight both the uncertainty and damage that has kind of been left in the wake of all of this crazy trade policy. So that's why it still needs to kind of recalibrate. Psych. Welcome, baby. I don't think there was news on Pfizer, but it is going up. Again, there was J&J earnings. That one whiffed. Mura, Elf on the high. Nice. The yield curve is already uninverted since last year. That's the irony. That's why I said I'm kind of worried in the sense of if we actually did get a rate cut, I would be scared. Why? Because that would be our second rate cut of the cycle. And the curve is already uninverted months ago. So, yeah, watch out for that. Yeah, we do have Netflix on the long term. We got it at like 180. Thank you, Bill Ackman. The reverse splits, I'm around lot protection. I have no idea. I try to stay away from reverse splits if possible. Bitcoin is strong. Pfizer is going up there too. I had shitty 1 cent plays. They're not moving though. Oh, Foyza. SMR. I haven't looked at any of the nuclear stuff. And then SPY just holding, but this is what I was saying here. Look, if we keep going up, great. But if we come down and we wait and we burn time, then this is going to start looking very, very slow. Worth buying far out TLT calls if the price isn't too expensive. I just wouldn't put a lot of money down on it because, again, you could burn a lot of time with TLT. So if we survive by Friday, no bond problems, then I'm pushing my range out till June. And then I really wouldn't be, I wouldn't be too crazy about it, but it all just depends on the price. That's what I talked about on the watch list with TLT when I went over it a week or two ago. I was telling you guys how I have 1 cent plays. So with the right risk to reward, I think it's worth holding. But if you're going to put a lot of money down or have a lot of, duration risk by holding, let's say like shares, that's a different story. But as long as you can, again, the right upside play on TLT with a low cost, I'm down with that. But if you have to pay too much for it, I would just wait till panic. Wait till Powell and Bessent do break glass, and you could always get a late stage TLT that I think will hit. All right. Watch Nike, Lululemon, Ralph Lauren, any of the clothing names. Why? There's big European earnings in this space. So watch if those actually end up going. HPE still on the high. Oh, those Intels are still up 42. SMR, whoever called that out, those 2 candles. And then Boeing on the high now. And then SPY still holding, hasn't made a breakout, but Boeing's recovered a 3% loss. Bank of America and Wells Fargo. SPY's moving up. Yeah, Wells Fargo's up 3. Palantir, SMR. High ticker's like almost full gas right now. U.S. tomato growers accuse Mexico without reason of dumping Mexican agriculture minister in response to duties. And then Canada announces new support for Canadian businesses affected by tariffs. Airbus CEO says tariffs are import duties and must be paid by customers. All right, SPY's making another move. Pay attention to this. Why this is important, because if it actually goes up from here, we want to see if we keep continuing, and then if we could actually get like a big day. Here's the weird part, though. Are you ready? You've only moved 31 points. So literally you did that in the 10-minute rigged. So it's only been 18 minutes, granted, but yeah, it's still just comparatively, this looks good. It's nice to go straight up, start off, nothing bad, but like in the scope of how we've moved, it is very, very minor. I'm watching premiums, though. I put out one on the stream alerts to watch. It's still going up. So again, the premiums just aren't bad today. They're just low, but it's still kind of like hesitant. Again, near the money was the answer. So if you do see something you like, actually, if you go look at any of the SPY options, the near the money plays are actually in the green. So, and then there's the out of the monies are still actually red from yesterday. You do got to get closer until we get crazy movement. But for now, I'm still trying to wait to see, because I do think we're going to be a little slower. I did not add anything to the long term. No, I did not say that. I don't know how you got that and then spam that. Okay, I'm banning you now. Thank you. Yeah. Why? Because I didn't make any indication of that, and I would hate for you to confuse any of the other people who are listening. So, yeah, that's a weird thing to spam. And it was a question on Kahoot, just FYI. Brazil's Arabica and Robusta coffee harvest expected to exceed forecast. For those of you who are interested. MSTR. Apple's starting to climb up. Uber, Citi, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. Honestly, a lot of things are climbing right now. And it's just gradual and it's nice. That's it. Very, very gentle. I kind of want a ghetto spread. Building cash. Eventually I'm going to buy something. I even said even yesterday's watch list, I really want to buy something, Chad. You have no idea. I hate that I don't have a lot of cash, but this is a really attractive dip now that we've finally watched a lot of names that we like go down. So I want to buy some. Even though my goal is to build cash, I would buy Nike or Pfizer right now. Those are the two. And NVO, those, or even all of them right now, low key, those are the ones calling my name, and I am really attracted to them. I just don't have a lot of cash still. So that's why it's deep down, I know I don't lose no matter what, but I'm saying, some of these rates and what they're offering, like Pfizer, I think it's sketchy and could still go lower, but even one small deposit on it is going to pay me 7%. It's even better than cash, but yeah, I do. I like them all. That's what I'm saying. My goal is to build cash, get it up there, but it's not like I have to just hold it for no reason, but I do. I want the right one, but I am exercising a lot of self-control by not purchasing. I think, again, right now, if your portfolio allows it, I think you should have already bought. If that makes any sense. So if you already had more than 20% cash, you should have taken a nibble in the last 30 days. That's the thing. I would have already. Like I'm saying, if I'm at 3% cash still. So I still have a low amount, but if I was back to, a different amount, and even if I had a little bit more than 10, I would have at least bought one thing. No, it's not that I don't think UPS is lower quality. I just think that the other ones kind of offer a little bit more of they offer something different. I actually think UPS is the most stable out of those in a very weird way. You guys want to see the long term? Hideous now. Not really. That's the scarring. We have to go down. Then you drop, and then you pop, then you come down, then you go back up. Yeah. Bloomberg reports China has ordered halts to Boeing. Yeah, that was in the morning. Mexico will try dialogue about tomatoes, says minister. But this is what I wanted to show you. Yeah, look. So I still got some good amounts, and that's the crazy part. We're almost done with April, but I only have 4% cash still. So believe me, I want to buy something. I really, even after this historic rally off of that bottom, it's literally just dude, there's some names that are still attractive, but I only have 3.97 cash. So that is my problem. Yeah, bro. Nike's even there. I do like UPS, though. That's from saving 3 deposits, yes. Because I used the January one or December on NVO. But that is from the pretty much January, February, March, or February, March, April. You want an additional 20% more cash? No, that would be my max. I mean, I would want a little bit more. I could scale in and pick some, but again, just don't forget. Right? Well, let me put it this way. If I use one deposit, where does my cash balance go down to? How about that? That's a better way to put it. Peer pressure. Well, there's been a lot, but I've already reacted. But essentially my cash would go down to I'd be at 2% or something. So that's my problem, is that maybe after this next deposit, I could start buying maybe one and then hold, but it's just my cash is still low. That's it. And then if things go down, you just see where, I'm kind of missing out. Oh, what the fuck? They just killed premiums? That was stupid. A couple of premiums were just climbing up, and then they just slashed them. NVIDIA trying to climb back up. Again, SPY is just gradually going up. 0.75%. Very slow. That's it. We're chilling. JPM. And 3,000 annual divvies. That's amazing. Oh, I love it. All right, SPY catching a little bit of a red now. He's still got a couple names on the high ticker going up. Oil is barely green. MP. Yeah, MP flipped. What was the other one? TMC? That one flipped too. Again, that one fell out the money. Yeah, last year's plan was great. The dividends, 2 years of dividends growth. We bought value when they were still cheap before this little wave. So that's it. But here's the deal. I will tell you this. Oh, that peach is here. That's the other thing I got to tell you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. Bradley Frizzle and the peach, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, peach nation. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to try to say, oh, China's going to cancel peaches? No, you can't. Everybody loves peaches. Stop it. What up, Bradley Frizzle? Woo! Woo! So, I was going to tell you guys a secret, kind of. Okay, SPY moving down a little bit, too. So, watch out. But here's the deal. Are you ready? My goal for this year is still a diamond. But I realized we may not get a diamond this year. I realized that the diamond may be scattering seeds. So worst case scenario, if we can't find a diamond, I think the diamond is going to be buying several names at extremely cheap prices. But other than that, the point is, I want to start thinking about, I don't want to narrow my focus just by wanting a diamond. So we might have other opportunities, but fact of the matter is we need cash before we could do anything. So let's get our cash, and then we'll see where we're at. But there is opportunity that has already developed here in the market. So hopefully you are doing that and taking advantage of it. How long would it take for me to build 20%? All year. So even if I held every deposit from now till the end of the year, I still wouldn't even have 20% cash. That's what I was trying to communicate, because it just highlights how overweight on equities we really were. Would I ever consider pausing the drip? No, never. And you shouldn't either, unless you're going to be old and live off of it. But no, I'm so glad we have reinvested every dividend. I really hope you guys recognize how important that is, because that's what I was even saying. A lot of the names that went up, like JP Morgan, Abivi, we got to average up into them. And then, even though my goal, like last couple years, my goal was to increase dividends. And even though this year we're not having that same goal, my dividends are they're going to go up at least 5-10% this year, just from the drip. So I've been very, very, very happy with that. And again, if you are just building your portfolio, I would push that. I would push your dividend reinvestments and make sure you do that, because if you don't need the cash, even if you do need the cash, I would let that work and do its thing. Work on Brazil's first oil dismantling contract. Again, late last year. How do I feel about Beto? You know I say buy Bitcoin. All right, well, there you go. You know the answer. Beautiful. And Nike's at 3. Oh, yeah, dividend yield. Well, again, though, it's crazy even if you look at some of their metrics. They've done bad, though. I mean, they've kind of fell off. They're not growing. At one, it's kind of crazy to think that, like, 2018, they were, like, growing still. But now you're buying them at a great value, but the growth rate has changed a lot. U.S. junk bonds market reopens with first deal in nearly 2 weeks. Okay, it's another good sign. You've been a member for 3 years, trading since 2019. Stream Alerts is first link in the description. Oh, now the premiums, now they came back up. Okay. Screen should not still be black. No, that was early. That was after the pledge. Oh, happy tax day. It's also your birthday. Happy birthday, all the tax babies. Seriously, though, where do you find the link? So the link for Stream Alerts is it's the first link in the description. It's been there for about 5 years, but I would find it as soon as possible because the price might be raised again. So if it takes you long to find it, you might have to pay more if you really want it. So I would find it as soon as possible and know where it is, because that could cost you. Actually, should I do it? Can I tell you guys today? It's slow, though. I don't think you need it as much today, but you might. But I think tomorrow, you're definitely going to want a membership. Okay? So, but if you can, man, if you could buy a membership, please and thank you. That's it. I want to see if this still works, but, you know, we have kind of chilled out a little bit. But if you would like to buy a membership, I would do that if I were you. This is me asking you to see if it works. Thank you. Netflix is still going. Netflix limit up. Oh, legal. I was gonna say maybe it stopped working. I think we exhausted it. But 7 legal. Oh no, wait, no, the Twitch did it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, there they came through. All right, I think we ran out though. I don't know. I think now it's the OG Chads gifting. They're like, I got you, Josh. So thank you guys. Thank you. They understood. I think it ran out. My sales tactic. They said I was the greatest salesman in the world. I don't know. I'm confused because it still led to gifted membership. So I'm not. Oh my goodness. Well, good morning, baby. Happy Tuesday. That's good. That's good. Turn on your gifts so you can receive them. But yeah, you're going to need that one tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Oh, Tyler. Tyree. Hey, 7. Mystery preform. Oh, they're turning up. Much love, baby. Oh, I feel dumb that you guys just taught me '07. You know that? I just learned that. Tiger pop. Tiger. 702 to 711. Small cap. Yeah, Tesla. You learned it on Friday? I know. That's it. Well, we did it, baby. We did it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So that's it. Now we're back to the OGs gifting. I think we've exhausted all membership outlets. It's good. Because I'm pretty sure. So actually, yeah. See, that's the funny part, too, because right now, there's 5,900 people watching, but we have more members than that. So technically, there's more members than people watching. Woo! There's it. I think it just had a lag. What up, baby? Zelensky says talks with U.S. on mineral deal was positive. More to come. What up, Tyler? Kara! How you living? Good to see you. Just became a chat. Well, let's go, baby. You got a long term? I hope so. That's the thing, man. You know, the market's been very volatile. Kind of crazy, man, what we've dealt with. But just don't ever forget, man, that long term. And like I was just saying, good time to start some things right now. So, amen. Amen. How many Tylers? We have a lot of Tylers. Tyler's a popular name. And then my dad would call you Taylor. I told you that one. I had a good friend of mine growing up. His name was Tyler. But then every time my dad knew him his whole life, and my dad would go, Taylor, how are you, Taylor? Wow, Taylor. Wow, Taylor Royke, wow. What? All right, Tiger's still going. That just popped. It's only 1%, but I think it was up more because it was red. Foe is running. All right, high ticker really gassing. Let me give you guys a checkup. We have made it past the top of the hour. So what do you guys think it looks like? Not bad. NASDAQ, 87 green, 14 in the red. So that's very good. Dow Jones, 22 in the green, 8 in the red. And then SPY, 376 green, 126 in the red. So Dow and NASDAQ, very good activity. Bro, Netflix, holy shit. Bro, Netflix, remember I told you guys this morning? So here's your problem. I was just telling you guys, Netflix is only pricing in 5% for earnings. That's nothing. It usually prices in 10. So now, 30 minutes into the day, Netflix is already up 5%. So it's still pricing in 5. You just move 5 now today. So now it's a 10% move. Ta-da. So from yesterday, essentially if earnings came out 5% and you move 5, that's 10%. So I think that one's very interesting. But yeah, that one's going nuts, bro. And then SPY's still up there again. You just got a headline on, what was the headline? Which one was it? Zelensky and the minerals deal. Yeah, Zelensky said they had a mineral deal progress, and then more details today. Yeah, Netflix running, but I don't know if this volume's fake. It's done that twice. It like makes these pops and then puts a fake volume, but I think it's indicative of something. Yeah, NVO. Wasn't NVO a little bit lower? Because remember, NVO popped on the Pfizer news yesterday. TSM. Apparently, TSM is one of the most crowded stocks in 2025. I saw some report on that, and it kind of tripped me out. So do you guys see it, though? We've been here for 30 minutes. Again, about 80% of the market. SPY has more names that are down, but you guys see how we're still moving slow. That's it. That's all I've been kind of aware of this morning. I just wanted to see because we're doing good. No negative developments. You know, we're kind of taking in all of this, but It's still very, very gradual. So let me see that one play. Again, the near the monies are still going up, though, so that's your good part. Yeah, the other ones are still staying pinned, though. I think the Boeing puts is kind of watered down. So, again, I was telling you they're going to be a target for like a week now, and then it finally hits, and then it drops and then comes back up. It's kind of like the pharma stuff. We talked about it so much that it hits, and then it's kind of meh. Finally joined. Started my long-term last August. Good, bro. I'm very proud of you. And I think you have a long journey ahead, and it will pay you out, man. Believe me, long-terms are a good thing. So I'm very glad to hear that you're making the most of your stock market journey. Trump, Truth Social. Perhaps Harvard should lose tax-exempt status and be taxed as a political entity if it keeps pushing political ideology and terrorist-inspired supporting sickness. Remember, tax-exempt status is totally contingent on acting in the public interest. Hot dog. So that's Trump, Truth Social right now on the other one. Oh, hi, y'all. What up, baby? Wow! Hard. The membership wave continues, chat. I know. To some's enjoyment and to some's dismay, it continues. Thank you, my friend. I like those ideas, too. Your sister just started one. Nice. Good work. I love it, man. But like I'm saying, for all of you, market's fun. There's a lot of opportunities even this year. And just at the end of the day, make sure you own stocks from the moment you know about the market. That's a great way to reward yourself. Yeah, Disney came back up. SPY breaking out. So no headlines. You just had the Trump Harvard thing. Again, we had Zelensky headlines, mineral deal. I don't know if people care about that. And then earnings in these plays, you're just melting up, bro. So, yeah, TSM starting to go. Disney, DJT, Netflix, bro. That's the real runner all day today. Yeah, some of the value's still lagging, though. So, again, it's all growth. You're under 1%. Russell's actually the leader, believe it or not. NASDAQ up 0.8, SPY up 0.79, now up 0.64. MPW did just wake up there, too. Watch any real estate, interest rate sensitive stuff, even though bonds aren't moving, but see. Yeah, DoorDash. Again, a lot of these names are starting to do their own thing. Damn, bro. Netflix. Kill it. Netflix is insane, bro. Yeah, that's a big, big move pre-earnings. Even the last 2 days, it had a gain, too. Who's that? Canada Carney, major auto firms are telling me they want to maintain their activities in Canada. Carney! Miguel, welcome, my friend. Bull on the high again. Webull. Remember, it did its craziness yesterday. New SPAC. So again, SPY just hit a high, chilled out. We got bull on the high. Nivda's been doing this all day, bro. Yesterday it did that too. It just kind of made that morning move and then stayed pinned. But you hit a high and chilled out. DJT, I did see that on the high. Yeah, damn, that thing just rocketed up. All right, not too bad, my friend. Where are the material plays? I think they all dropped. Yeah, TMC went negative and MP. Whoop. And then look at bonds. I don't know if you guys noticed, though. They're starting to die. Has not really been like that. These plays are dumb. some slow burns. I have one. I'm going to wait on it. How can you recover from losses? By slowing down, getting a budget, and then building up momentum. And move on. But again, I mean, it's not easy. I would say people ask me this a lot, but I do think if you have a budget, that helps a lot, like a lot. If you get that 10% of your 10%, exactly, that will protect you a lot. But get momentum is what I always tell people. Some of you have been here for a while. You've heard me say this. But if you're going on a losing streak, trying to get back in the swing of things, play small until you start hitting. And then get your momentum up. Again, an object in motion will stay in motion. Try to get that momentum and confidence back, and then you'll be good. But, lately we have been talking a lot about budgets. And if you could get a budget, I really think it's going to help you. Netflix, good work, bro. A lot of people called some great Netflix plays yesterday. So that was fire, bro. Even then, that's an amazing one. Yeah, bro, it was only pricing in 5, and then it just did that ahead of earnings. So same thing with Tesla. Tesla was only pricing in 5, but Tesla doesn't move like Netflix does on earnings, but we will see. VWAP dance. Arkansas seeks to cut soda and candy from food stamps. Isn't that old? So remember, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they got clapped on that. But that one, we played that headline a couple weeks ago. Pinduoduo. Tesla's still up there. Again, SPY doing that little dance. It's weird because whatever's leading and lagging there, it's a little different. Again, we're kind of pulled apart. Have I ever worked an average job or a 9 to 5? I have. I worked at Foot Locker at one point in my life. And then I worked for a corporate job. I worked for a marketing. And I did, I went to an office. So, yeah. And then I was going to work on Wall Street. And then they didn't want me doing YouTube. So I said, fuck the free world. And then everybody in the 313, they started putting their hands up and following me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the hell was that, bro? Bro, you see this? All right. Okay, I made Teslas free. They were only up 15%. I only got a couple of them. I just sold most of them. They were out the money. That was a big drop. EU expects U.S. tariffs to remain as talks make little progress. And then China custom admin holds meeting with companies. So, yeah, bad EU news. So, watch out. See if this materializes, though. But that's our first set of trade news today. They're pretty much saying EU progress, little progress. So watch, see if that, again, that's going to be interesting because, like I said, today's slow. All right. Hold on. TLT is up on that. It's very weird. Okay, I already made a play, but they're already fucking up, so be careful. Premiums have already... it's only 10%, 15%. I went with a near the money, though. Yeah. Okay, now it's up 20. I'm going to make these free. Yeah, bro. Big drop. That's it. That was the headline to make us react now. So long story short, you had absolutely nothing today. Then we're going slow. And then now there's a headline on, what's it called? Now there's this headline that your EU trade deal is not looking good. So I grabbed near the money. Oh, damn, these are really running. Okay, they're up 30 already. I'm waiting to make it free. I have my finger on the trigger. Now I'm up 40. Fuck. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, I made mine free now. I have 3 free dailies. Jeez, bro. Yeah, they went up 40% on that. That's not that much, honestly. I don't know. It felt like a lot, but I just went bigger on there. But I got I got 3 free plays out of it, but yeah, I don't know. It's still kind of small, so just be careful. But I played for tomorrow. And then I made look, some plays are holding up. I had Teslas. I made that free. Those are still holding up 10%. And then not everything's moving. Again, this one, honestly, was kind of weird. I'm actually just going to sell all of them, bro. Fuck that. I'm going to sell all of them but one. That was good money. Yeah. I'm going to keep one. I don't want 3 of them. I don't need 3. Yeah. Because, again, I still think today's small. That was your first set of bad news there. That's been the move. Yeah. And even then, like, you get, like, just like yesterday, we had, like, one big move. That's what paid us on the GM, and then that was it. But that could have been it for today. But at the end of the day, I walked away with 1 free one. Oh, no. Wait, I still have some. Damn, son. I have 1 more. I guess I had 4. Honestly, I'll just get rid of all of them. Give me all my money. Okay, now I have no more free ones. Give me. That was good. I like it. I got paid 40%, but I went bigger just because of the headline. Now we wait for another one. I tell you, you wait for the next trade headline or you wait for something else to move. Watch some of those others. Those Teslas did come down. I went closer to the money on the puts. They made 40%. But other than that, that was it. Again, I got out of them all. I was going to hold one for free. They're still up. They're still holding. Again, they're moving anywhere from like 10 to 20% on this type of swing. But I don't think that out of the money's got to gain, and then they fade in. So, see, the headline was EU. They said the trade negotiations were not going well, and that EU is going to keep tariffs. But remember, let me pop quiz. What's the other trade negotiation coming up in the next 24 hours? So you just heard from the EU. You get your first little negative reaction, but now what's the other one you should be paying attention to? Yes, sir, Japan. So yeah, you have Japan supposedly tomorrow. Okay, I got a cheap one for you, just in case. So like I said, the other one was big, near the money. It was worth a lot, so I took the profits, but I got one for you. All right. No. I was just typing out a play. I have one. So I got rid of my near the monies. There's some shitty SPY puts if you really want them. But you could take the low quality plays if you think it's going to lead to a big day. Otherwise, you do nothing. So I called out one to watch. I gave a price to look at for a shitty put. And then that's it. And then you just go home. Because, again, it's either we flush on the EU stuff or it's a little negative reaction. Then we kind of base out and then we wait for the next headline. Because remember, yesterday you would have the rumors and the back and forth, but it didn't cause a big move. But today that news isn't good. But let's see now, again, the follow through. But I do think the near the monies are superior. That's what I put on the watch list. So I took a bigger part of the profits right now, and then we'll wait till the other ones come in. Or like the other plays, but that's why I said I'll go with the shitty one, keep it small, 10, 20 bucks, and then that's it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have enough movement. But if this turns into a big sell, you sell 5,400 and we start dumping, before you know it, this could gradually become a bigger day. I just don't know. But that's why I'm saying keep it small. I'm identifying a couple plays, not forcing. We already took profits. I made a good money on that move. That was the move that paid me right there. So we're good. The first plays, the Tesla's hit in the morning. The other two still the same price. Actually, J&J went down. Spot daily. Good luck, baby. Do I market orders? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends. And like the other day I did a market order and I got fucked. So that one I did not do a market order on it. Let's see. Yeah, oil moved a lot on that headline. Damn. And MO on the high too. Watch if values. Again, 5412. You were just at 5,400. So we'll see. That Burlington or Burford. They're on the high again. SPY bouncing a little bit. Yeah, whatever Burford. I feel like we've seen this thing move before. Added 6 Nikes to the long term. Let's go. Wow. You've seen premium on my calls hit. Pretty cool, even though the stock is down. Oh, nice. Well, welcome. That means it's probably going to be very volatile. Get ready. Woo! 0 day, 60%. Small gratuity, baby. Let's go. That's it. And be patient because that was our move for now. I think there might be more, but at the end of the day, well, I want the easy ones, and I don't think we have to force it. And let's not make, you don't have to work too hard on the times where nothing's happening. Like yesterday, I kept looking at the at these plays, and I wanted to find some, but like nothing was going on. Eyes on the VIX. VIX is below 30, but yeah, we'll see where that leads us. I don't know if crypto is dumping. We had a couple moves with like Coinbase and MSTR earlier, but yeah, crypto did. Crypto just sold off like $800. Let me see it. Did that work? All right, bro. I'm down with this. See what we got. Amazon, I don't know. I want to look into the tinfoil. You guys tagged me in it. Apparently, people think the Blue Origin thing was fake. I think that's kind of funny. Oh my goodness. Why are these so expensive, Habibi? Allegedly, the whole thing was a money laundering event? What? What, in the Ukraine? I didn't know that was a theory. Yeah, someone tagged me in the conspiracy theory. CEO of Bank of America on CNBC. He's going to explain why Warren Buffett is selling. Here he can explain it. Let's see, Mr. Monahan.
Or increasing their expectations.
So 7:30, baby. Been an hour. Follow me on Instagram after Trading Fraternity. Real Code News on
or whatever
Twitter.
Are. Increase in unemployment levels up a bit. And as you look at all that, how a bank thinks about that, that goes through our reserving methodology for our loan book. And what we told people is if you take our reserves and our imprecision reserves, our judgmental reserves, and all the conservatives we throw in, we're sort of reserved at a 6% implied unemployment rate, which is far where we are now and above where most people think it will get. So the banks have done a lot, and our bank has done a lot to position ourselves through with capital, liquidity, credit quality, multifarious portfolios and for times of stress of which we haven't really seen other than the pandemic for a long time, and we're prepared for that. And yet you're not seeing it reflected in the current numbers. You're reflected more in how we're thinking about credit and provisions going forward.
What do you hear, Brian, from the CEOs you talk to, so many, small, medium, large, about investment and hiring plans given the new tariffs?
Well, I think it's not the tariffs are one aspect of it. You have the immigration policy and the ability to get workers. You have the tariffs. You have the tax bill, which is moving through Congress. There'll be a lot of discussion as it moves towards a final resolution between the two plans and ultimately what they'll get through. And then you've got the deregulation impact across all industries. And I think each of those are hard to figure out, and all of them together, all moving at once, are even harder to figure out. So the new administration came in with ready to go compared to the first Trump administration. They put a lot of stuff on the table. They're pursuing all that. And while we talk a lot about tariffs, all these other aspects are going on too. And the average business owner is trying to figure it out. And that's causing them probably to be a little slower in making decisions on hiring or capital investment until they figure out the path forward. Now, in a company like ours, we've got tens and hundreds of people who spend all their time thinking about that. We've got a research team, which is a great team that spends all their time thinking about that. But if I saw a lot of mid-sized companies and smaller companies last week. If I were one of them, I'm sitting there saying this is hard to figure out. So they're being a little more conservative. You're just not seeing it reflect in their current asset quality or anything else at this point.
Well, have you seen any notable increases in companies tapping credit lines for precautionary reasons?
We have not. So if you go back before the pandemic, the average draw rate of middle market credit lines was, say, 40% to make it simple. That fell to 35%. It's run around 36%. So you're not seeing people like they did during the first stage of the pandemic 5 years ago. About this time, we saw $70 billion in commercial lending come through in a quarter, which is way outsized compared to what we see. We grew loans 4% year over year. Think of that as $40 billion over a whole year, not $70 billion in a month. And so we haven't seen anything like that. They're calm. They're making money, but they are worried worried about how all this works and
Sure.
how it could reflect, the changes in supply chain, the changes in costs. Can they pass that through to their customers? But the other thing we have to remember is the U.S. economy is dominated by services too, and those are a little bit different. And one of the worries I have about tariff policy and stuff is when do the services get dragged into it on an international scale. But in the U.S., a lot of services side consumption's been strong. And the last thing I'd say is we told people, and we've talked about many times, Sarah, is our consumers in the first quarter of 25 moved 4% plus more money out of their accounts than they did in the first quarter of 24. And for the first part of April, using a 4-week average just to make sure we don't have bumps, and it's running about 5%. So the consumers are still spending money.
Waiting for the Warren Buffett question.
Polls that say they're going to stop, they have not stopped yet.
I was going to ask about that. And you see that on the high end, low end. I guess the question is how much
bonds came back. Bonds
is.
are literally at break even right now.
Well, if you think about their credit quality is strong, they still have money in their accounts, they're employed, and the wage growth has been strong. So that all sets up unless we have more layoffs and more job loss. So what I watch as I've learned over the years from our team is I watch the new claims for unemployment, and they're still sitting in the 200 to 230,000 range a week. And that then cycles through, and the continuing claims at 1.8, 1.9, whatever they are, a little bit elevated, and we got to watch that. But right now, you're not seeing that impact. When that happens, the consumer will slow down their spending, and we're seeing it across the board. It has shifted in terms of more experiences, services, less travel on planes, but more travel on boats, and it moves around as it always does. But in the end of the day, it's solid spending at a rate that's consistent with an economy that's grown 2%.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting part, bonds caught a bid on the first downside. You're still holding this little middle between the EU news.
There are more actual job eliminations and reductions, and people are unemployed. The unemployment rate's still
Netflix killing it.
No, I know, and it sounds like everyone expects that, but no one knows how much. You said you'd be worried about the trade war if we get into an area where services are included and not just goods. What do you mean by that? What's the worry here?
Well, we export a lot of services in our country along many dimensions.
Okay,
and you're
TLT getting more volume
side, who import a lot of our
before
services.
the SPY's
It's more
even
of a balanced
moving.
Picture, and will they start introducing taxes on various enterprises to start to as a retaliation, and that you worry about because that could have another impact.
Yeah, bonds are running
competitiveness.
first.
And so I
actually haven't looked at gold today.
It's not talked about as
Bitcoin,
much because
that hasn't
all the
picked
tariffs
up.
really are on goods today.
Gold
And
is
it's
still
about
up.
bringing the
Oil's
manufacturing
dropping
jobs
now,
back,
too.
and about U.S. consumption of U.S. goods produced, but U.S. consumption of U.S. service produced is a big part of the economy, and worldwide consumptions of U.S. services produced is a big part of the world economy, and we want to make sure, we as a country should be highly interested in making sure that stays the case.
Well, despite all of this, Brian, the economic uncertainty about what lies ahead, you did, I mentioned the big beat on net interest income, but also maintaining guidance for fourth quarter on this number. And I'm just curious about why. What gives you the sort of confidence and visibility to do that with the rate outlook also changing?
Yeah, but that's...
Yeah, so from the last time we gave earnings to this
so listen,
time,
that's another
ago,
company.
We are at one cut.
Again, that's
now we're at 4 cuts. Now
holding
one of those
guidance.
Cuts is in December, that's not
and
going
even
to
though
affect
you
the
hear
fourth
them
quarter
all
much.
talk
So,
about this,
but if you look across those cuts and
none
think
of the
about
earnings
them,
are reflecting this level of fear.
We've absorbed that in better growth. Frankly, deposits perform
at
better.
least for now.
Basically, as our portfolio repositions, that happens, and it may.
This is Brian Moynihan, CEO of Bank of America.
4% levels, that's going to be lucrative. It may be if there's 25 basis points or 50, it would be a little bit more lucrative, but it's very lucrative. And so we gave the walk in our earnings presentation, but roughly $1 billion lift from this quarter, completed the first quarter in 3 quarters, is strong growth in 6 to 7%. NII growth is sort of counter the trend, is how our great company just generates more loans, more deposits, and the repricing of the balance sheet, which extracts the value of those deposits over time, produces that NII growth. So it shouldn't change a lot, but it was less than we thought it would be, but we made up for it with other growth and other things going on.
Yeah, what is that outlook for loan growth at this point? I think you put up some of the best of the group so far.
Let's get that long-term toe.
We have low single-digit loan growth, and that's part just the return on the
Okay,
investments
SPY's
we made
moving
across the
a little
last,
bit more.
3-4 years.
This
And
bond
loan
reaction
officers
kind of
in our
has
middle
my
market,
attention.
Small business area, business banking, we call it, companies up to $25 million in revenue. Those areas have been growing solidly. Except for commercial real estate, which has been flat to down, all those areas are growing solidly, and we expect that to continue because we're actually adding new clients. And so these are highly credit.
Yeah, this thing was already up, but big
but
pop.
we're adding them because we've added more officers, the quality of our products and services. Frankly, our international understanding, bringing it to middle market clients, our investment banking capabilities brought to middle market clients, all those add to our client reach in 100 markets we serve in America. And likewise, outside the United States, we've increased our client coverage by a good chunk, and meaning not just the multinationals, companies down to $1 billion in revenue.
TOT and bonds.
A little more area to play in, and that's resulted
They've
in some growth.
moved a lot more on that rather than the
growth.
market.
If the economy goes into a deep recession, that would be different. But
Brian, Apple nearly imported $2 billion worth of iPhones from India ahead of Trump tariffs. Foxconn sent highest ever iPhones in a month, worth $1.3 billion from India to U.S. ahead of Trump tariff. Custom data.
Positive, and there ought to be growth for us to get in that regard.
What about investment banking? How has the outlook there changed? There was so much optimism going into the year about deals and IPOs, and that's been sluggish so far. And now with the tariffs, there are questions about what we'll see.
Well, I think at the end of the day,
this is from customs data, so it's confirmed.
Deregulation policy.
They literally moved $1.5 billion.
Support for manufacturing build-out and things like
that. $2 billion,
which are
and then
coming through.
from
And
Foxconn.
frankly, getting the tax bill extended is important because that sets the U.S. tax rate, which circa 17, 18, 19 was a reason why a lot of companies were coming here as a big final demand and a certainty of tax rate.
Okay, SPY back on VWAP. This time, SPY and bonds together now.
All that going on will help. And so
let's see.
Well, when you came after the election, there was a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of deals would come through. You saw a lot of deals get announced, and at $1.5 billion investment banking, that's a standard good quarter for us. We would have hoped for more if coming out of the election it slowed down. We've got to get two things. If the market stabilizes, then the IPO market
Apple
can
moving a little bit.
Stabilize. And
Netflix still the major
financing.
leader.
I think a deal got
Tesla
done
got
today. We need the markets to have stability to do that. Right now, there's too much fluctuation. That would then add more activity. The M&As, lots of conversations, lots of pipeline, lots of stuff going on. It's just got to have a little certainty to get those deals signed up and through.
Well, that's the question, is when we'll get certainty and how we'll get certainty. Brian, what do you think we need to see from Washington to get that?
Well, I think we need to get the tax bill done, which is the focus is turning that, and we need right now the tariffs and the negotiation delay for 9 days. We just need it to settle out.
Bitcoin, Tesla getting
so
bigger.
People can understand how that policy is going to work, and then they need to see.
Okay, 5430. You're back above VWAP.
But more
again, we just bounced. Now you're getting back to where the EU
how do I react to it a year.
So again, we played this. This was our little play here. When was this? This was about 30 minutes ago. It came from an EU official, and they were saying that talks weren't going good. We slipped up finally, bounced around. The bonds broke out on all of this, and then now you are pretty much right back to where that news came out. Okay, now you got bigger volume on Tesla. Okay, you can make those other Teslas free. Again, you've had two different opportunities. But you're back above. See if this holds. If it hits a new high, you're going to run up a little bit. Range is still small, but if we kind of hit here and come back down, I mean, just get ready to burn time. Again, the bond's a little weird, and then that's Bank of America. I'm listening to this. I want to hear what it is, but I do hope you guys are paying attention. We brought this up on the watch list last week. Shout out to Kahoot, but again, you are having another company, a big company, report earnings, and nothing about their guidance is changing. Keep that in mind.
There's not a lot of difference. It just went through some pretty good ups and downs. And these are the Treasury markets.
Bonds
They're not
starting
supposed to
chill
move around like that. So I think, again, it's the same sort of policy clarity it's got to come through that people are trying to figure out that we just spoke about. There's no difference. The bond market's reacting to that and potential impacts on higher inflation for longer because prices go up, or the potential impacts of a constraint in the fiscal situation in the United States.
MO's going. Doesn't MO have earnings?
And reducing the economy that way. And so I think longer term, a strong America America leading the world on research and development and intellectual capacity. The capitalism in America ought to win out, and that means a strong dollar and a flight to quality. It's just during times when the policy uncertainty happens, you can see that bounce around. The good news is it's settled back down, and we're watching it closely like everybody else is.
You push back on all the negative narratives. I mean, it sounds like you sound relatively calm, and so I guess you're not worried, about that. The U.S.
They
losing
all
reserve
sound
status,
relatively
the
calm.
stagflationary
Per their
narrative, the
earnings.
recession. It sounds like you're feeling okay.
Okay,
You just wanna
SPY
see
still
more clarity.
holding.
Is that an
See if you
accurate
get above
characterization?
542.35. That's when the news came out.
I don't want to be obdurate here. I'm saying that I'm talking about what you're actually seeing today in terms of consumer spending, in terms of asset quality in our industry, in terms of capital, liquidity, and how we fight through these times. What we're worried about, like everybody else, is the parade of things that could go on and go wrong. But you would assume that people who believe it's their job to make the United States effective may have different strategies. Administrations
Okay,
and new
getting it
administrations
red.
had different strategies. But
I
at the end
see
of the day, they're gonna
Zelensky
make
headline.
Sure that
Oh, whoa,
the
bigger
unemployment
drop.
is in check, that the United States economy is growing, that the United States is still a beacon to the world in terms of economic power and capitalism. Our capital
Yeah, they
markets,
just be
which are the
careful, be
strongest.
careful, be
And so
careful.
all these policies will have
'Cause
to
that
be
moved
settled
at
out at
$2.
some point
Anything
against
near
those
the money
goals,
just gapped
which
up
are the goals that
50
they're stating.
cents.
So I
Be
think
very
the
careful
question
on
is,
that.
the bumps in the
Just
road
hold
getting
the
there,
shitty
but at the
puts.
end of the day, you got to believe that for countries been around
Yeah,
for
that was a
250
fucking
years,
fake.
It done a lot of great things.
It might
There
come
ought to be a
down, but just
pattern
be
that ought to come
careful.
out the other side, it ought to work.
Brian.
Okay, this is what I want you guys to watch out for. This is how you're going to lose a lot of money really fast trying to chase these candles. This is what I want you to see, because look, this play 250 off of that. Now it's starting to come down, but look, it was just at $2. So if you buy this here and it goes down, you're already paying a 60-cent premium. That's 20-40%. So that's the only problem, but we are coming down. I don't have a headline yet, but that's the only thing. You can't really chase that one. Call premiums went up. Yeah, because you just moved down and up like 3 points. But yeah, just be careful, though, because some of those, I won't even go after them. But when I look at the premium, I'm like, wait a minute. So like I was saying there, those shitty puts are going to hold. That's it. They're around the same price. Yeah, look, that shitty put went up 50% and then came back down. That's kind of the whole idea, is that if we are going to get this volatility, you'll watch those kind of move. Trump, U.S. will protect farmers. Trump criticizes China for reneging on Boeing deal. China was brutal to farmers. Oh. Okay. I don't like that. Do you see the problem? Trump is bringing up China farms and farmers. Oof. I don't like the premiums, but I don't think that's good. Let's see where we're at price-wise. I do not like paying the 60. That's what, 10, 30% higher? So all the contracts, even near the money, got a 30% gap. Yeah, I don't like that. It's only bad if that escalates, but that's not a good sign. But yeah, Trump is talking about farmers, and then he's criticizing China and Boeing. TLT's still going. The plays are still lower, though, from when we made those flips. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, where is TSN? China reneged on big Boeing deal. TLT still going. Again, SPY not moving as much. Couple names still holding. I mean, it's still very slow in that sense. It sucks because you're getting like little trade headlines, right? You know, we're waiting for the big ones, they cause moves. But some of these, again, the Europe thing, bad sign. Trump, what he just said, he didn't announce anything. It just didn't sound good. And then, yeah, now you're still like in the middle of when all those headlines came out. Yeah, USA will protect our farmers, says Trump. Trump-a-rooney. All right, the premiums are still climbing a little bit. We're not go. I know I'm even typing this out on the stream alert because I'm like, dude, it's still like the volatility is still like the range is still low. That's the weird part. So I put one to watch that's been reactive. That was the one that I flipped earlier, but there's reactive options on here. They've kind of moved and leveled out, but the problem is that the range is still tight. You're not moving more than 7.3 or 0.75%. That moved us like 0.5 on that. So watch out for that one and see, but I wouldn't really force anything. Okay, now look, you're getting these bigger candle, but the premiums aren't really moving off that. About 5% back and forth. Yeah, I think if you got soybean, if Trump really hit that, that would be negative. But for now, that just sounded negative. Oh, where did that Tesla go? Yeah, they're all still holding. Yeah, well, this is just like yesterday. Remember, this is what I was talking about, and this is what I need you guys to be aware of. The problem isn't the news or it's just going slow. That's it. After going so fast, the VIX is now below 30. You're just moving at a different pace. And that's why I'm like, today's kind of weird in that sense because even though we're getting these headlines and these candles seem all big, it's not. You know, we're still all in this nice little baby range. Morgan Stanley event tomorrow to go over tariff impact. That'll be interesting. Again, tomorrow is going to be a bigger day with Japan. We're going to hear about that trade deal, then Powell, then retail sales. But SPY staying a little pinned over here. PTCT on the high. Yo, look at this. 4% PTCT. Is that halted? It's up 4%. There is zero cheap options on that. Yeah, PTCT, 5%, looks a little illiquid. It is a biotech. Yeah, there's literally no options on that. And SPY's still holding again. Watch that premium. You don't have to take it, but that's the one that's kind of reactive. That one's still holding the gap. So everything, there was like a little bit of gap in premium on this candle. They gapped up really hard, then came back, and then most of the premiums are like right in the middle. UNH. I just think healthcare will be kind of important. And then pay attention to all these earnings. If like healthcare and any of these names, if they do what some of these companies like Walmart and Bank of America have done, and they have good guidance, I think that'll be a very good sign. You know, the fact that people aren't panicking, cutting guidance, getting rid of it, I think that's an elephant in the room that needs to kind of be addressed a little bit more. What time is it? We got Euro close in 30 minutes. Yeah, I saw Walmart on the high. PTCT, 5% pop, just no options you could really play. There's Apple. Tesla's still going up there, too. Even those TMCs. Hey, what up, Devin? Still, you're right at VWAP. This is, again, the second candle from Europe, and then you're right in the middle of the Trump comments on agriculture. But, yeah, you're just not getting out of there. PTCT, again, that's up 5.5. I have no headline on it, but 5%, 6%, you might want to pay attention. That usually means something. It's all just shitty plays, bro. Yeah, maybe you go with shares. You went to tech and growth and dividends since you started. You'll do that and then switch over to healthcare. I think go with what you know. I wouldn't just don't box yourself in on like I have to do this for this year and that. I think you're just started out, which is good. And any moves you make, you'll be able to adjust in the future with time and consistency. So I would just keep it around, just like go with quality and names that you know and use. That's the best way to start your long term, because I would hate for you to be, a year in and then, half of your companies you don't really have experience with. I hope you don't. I hope you don't have healthcare experience, That means you're healthy. So, but at the end of the day, I would go for names that you know about, have quality, and then start going in other areas and adding. But if you are going to go with healthcare, go with the ones that you know and use. Okay. Trump discusses with Oman Sultan means to support Iran nuclear talks in phone call. State news agency. That's coming out now. So positive on Iran. And you are just holding. I spoke with Prince Ali. Ali Ababwa. I know. They said he's strong as 10 regular men, equal as he. I know. I said, wow, can you believe it? They said, let me see. This guy, he comes out. And the people greet him with an elephant. I know. Even the elephants were dancing. I said, wow, that guy, they love him. The people love him. Ali Ababwa. Ali Ababwa. Wow, that's a beautiful name. Beautiful name, I'd say. Wow. Even Jasmine. Wow, she's a beauty. She had a tiger. I know. They got the tiger. He sat there. The tiger sat. He looked at me. I said, wow, these people. Even the tigers have respect. I said, that's amazing. That's amazing. Strongest than regular man, equal as he. Yes, that was the plot to Aladdin. Yeah. Just in case. Just in case you were unfamiliar, yes. Okay, those premiums went a little lower. I like them, but yeah, you got to make your mind up on follow through and whether or not you're going to get the move. I'd like individuals. Individual names have paid us out a little better. We did hit that first 40, but now you got to wait for the next headline. Again, Trump with Oman and Iran. That had it. Premiums kind of bottomed out, and now they're back up on the rise again. Banks to fund $2.2 billion parts debt for Apollo Auto Parts LBO. You're not here to pump, but every time you go to Costco, you feel like you need to buy the stock. I feel you, bro. I'm not. I actually feel that heavy. Costco is great. It's just really expensive. It's weird because Costco, though, like, I think Costco is a great company, but then, like, the fundamentals don't really make sense. Not in a bad way, but, like, in the way that, like, pretty much, I believe Costco is at, like, a 30 times growth, or 40. And I don't see grocery stores growing like that. But, yeah, like, long story short, I'm pretty sure their price right now implies 40 times growth. in the next 10 years or something like that. But that's like crazy. But then again, I'm like, it's Costco, and I love Costco. Everyone loves Costco. It's 50. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. That would be the one if we ever had deflation and that shit comes down, though, I'm buying it. But that one, I'd rather stretch my money and get some value instead. It's not a bad name, though. That's a name if you ever wanted a FOMO quality and you don't care about price. I like Costco. It's a good name. Hamas Armed Wing says they lost contact with group holding Israeli-American hostage Eden Alexander. TLT should not be on the long term. No. Not unless you're old as shit. If you're like about to retire and you need bonds in your long term, then maybe. But at that point, I would say you should just go buy physical bonds too. Not like physical, but like just go buy a real bond. Yeah, you're 27. You don't really have a need for that. Double the volume on the sales. I just watched the premiums, but this is good. And like I'm telling you, as long as we only took one SPY play, hit 40%, we're out. And that's great because I'm telling you, we're going to save money by not wasting money. That's how we're going to win. So I'm taking these as wins, because yesterday we noticed it early, saved us some, that's it. Just like today, though, figure it out early. It's going to save you a lot of money. Let's wait till we get a real headline. And individuals are still driving. So I've hit individual names. I had 2 that did nothing, but the 2 other stocks I played hit. We got our 40%er as well, but just there's no follow through. We're going slow. If you could adjust to the pace, you're going to be fine. That's it. But if you try to force fast when it's slow, not going to work. And vice versa. You try to go slow when it's moving fast, you're going to regret that one too. So right now, just move with the speed, vibe to it. We don't get to choose the speed, but we get to choose what we play. You see what I'm saying? So you don't get to wake up every morning and be like, yeah, Donald Trump, give me volatility. You don't know if that's going to happen or not, but you do get to choose what you are going to play. So that's why I'm saying once we notice that the market's moving 0.5%, the follow-through's not there, we just got to wait for a real headline. Otherwise, it's all on you, man, because whatever you choose to play now, I mean, you're going to be subject to this type of speed. And if speed changes, then it's ready to go. And that's all I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a change in speed. We're going to start moving. Other than that, though, I hope I'm entertaining enough to listen to. Otherwise, you might FOMO into some bad plays. Tell him again, Josh. Tell him about Prince Ali. Maybe you'll distract them. Prince Ali, Ali, Ababwa. That's all you gotta do. SLM? Was that Slim? SLM Corp. MasterCard on the high. Bro, the VIX itself is under 30. I think that's amazing. It's crazy because 30 is still high, remember? But we went from 50 VIX to that. That's nuts. Relatively quickly. Day trading for Disney. Nice. I'm so excited to what your first comment's going to be. You're either going to be like really nice. You know what I'm saying? With that name, or you're going to be like, fuck you, Josh. So had to give you your 5. That's a nice comment. That's a great first comment. I love it. I love it, baby. Welcome. I helped you a lot. Wow, this is good. This. Love it, baby. Love it. Amen. All right, can you give me some context on the name? I'm curious now. What does day trading for Disney mean? Heck yeah. Bro, you're still at the top end of all of these little, like, back and forth candles. So let's see, though. If we do break out, a couple of names are changing leadership. Russell is still the leader on the day, and then NASDAQ 0.4, SPY is now higher than the NASDAQ, and then Dow Jones 0.3. Are you able to promote your brother's business? No, you're not. Sorry. It's just because I don't want to promote everybody's business. You could email me, though. I could send it to the real estate guys. I trade to take my family to Disney. Now I'm... oh, bro! I love it. I thought it was going to be like some liberal or like some anti-liberal answer. That's a great answer. I fucking love it, bro. I love that. I hope I could help with that, and I'd love to hear the long term too, man. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, little SPY red. Trump spoke on the phone with Sultan. They agreed on mediation. Okay, you're just moving. Again, watch that same play. You could just literally watch one play. That's it. Watch one near the money, and then watch one out of the money. That's it. So, yeah, they came back up again. Premiums jacked on that. They didn't jack on the other one. But that place came back up. It's still lower than right here. But you're still in. Remember, this was the Trump agriculture. This was the EU. Talks weren't going well. Yesterday's philo made you better. That's good, man. I don't know. Yesterday's philo, light bulbs went off. I think I had like 5 different emails about like people who were like, yo, I fucking hate philo, but yesterday's philo, I'm going to start listening to philo now, which was surprising. I don't know. I didn't expect that to happen. So either way, though, I think some of you will realize, some of the comments we talk about and these little random ass phrases I say sometimes, you would be surprised, man. It could just help with trading. Make no mistake, man. Emotions and getting control and, just thinking and not stressing yourself out and not focusing on explaining yourself. Some things might take you a very long way, but I'm glad to hear, man. I had some good reviews from yesterday. I do like Broadcom, yeah. Not for the long term because they're up, but yeah. You know what I like for the long term? That's a chip name. Not Intel. Skyworks. I think this name is super fascinating. This name I remember 10 years ago, literally. 2014, 2015. This was like a king of Apple and chips. And even then, 2021, 2022, they were going for 190. They make chips. I think they do some of the networking switches or something for some of the Apple devices. Maybe somebody with more tech savvy could help me with that, or we could just look it up. But either way, I've known about them for a while. They've been around, but that's one that's trading at like a 5-10 year low. It's in the tech space. They used to be a major leader, and then literally it's down 60-70%. I started trading and got into the stock market at a very young age, bro. I think I have like 17 years of experience now. But just like I was telling you guys yesterday, I just started early. That was always my goal, so I could say shit like that. Because I told you, I got my real estate license because I planned to do law, and I wanted to have my real estate. By the time I got my law degree, I'd have 7-8 years. But, my first trade was 17, 18 years ago in the stock market, and I still own some of those stocks, believe it or not. What do you consider young? Anybody that, you don't understand what heartburn is. So if you don't understand the feeling of heartburn and it doesn't worry you, you're young. If you have heartburn and you're, kind of, hesitant towards what could cause heartburn, you're not old, but you're definitely not young anymore. You see what I'm saying? That's a great way. So both people should get a long term. But definitely, like, if you're like, Josh, what the fuck you mean heartburn? You're like, your heart is on fire. You don't even understand what it feels like. You're young. You should be getting the long term. You should be this is your moment, big dog. If you don't know what heartburn is, but you know, if you have experienced heartburn, consult with your primary physician. No, I'm kidding. But you're not as young anymore, but you're not old. So yeah, do your thing. You think it's funny. I think it's true. Mm-hmm. Should I purchase a house with a 401k? As long as it's a good deal. That's it. And I hope y'all see it, man. Like, if you're not buying a house because you have to, a.k.a. your job or something forcing you to move, just make sure you're not overpaying because it is turning into a buyer's market. I'm seeing people still. It is not an easy real estate market for sellers. And, yeah, so, like, if you are going to use your 401k, just get a good deal. Try to get concessions. Make sure it's not the most expensive house in the last 3 months. Those things will help you. When I was 14, I was telling older people to diversify their portfolios. I actually wasn't. I believed in stocks at 14, and then quickly I got into penny stocks. So my first year at 14 to 15 was like very like read balance sheets. That was the first thing I wanted to learn. Did you guys know that? So just because I read the Jim Cramer book and he kept talking about balance sheets, I thought that was the most important thing. So I was 14 years old, and I wanted to just learn to read a balance sheet. That's how I learned that pretty early, though, because I did spend time reading balance sheets as a young kid. But then a year into it, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Once I discovered, like, Yahoo message boards, and then people were pumping shit, dude, and I saw penny stocks, I was like, whoa. And then I got into the trading stuff, and then I made a lot, lost a lot. I had my flukes where you like, you know, you're up a lot and then the next day it goes to zero. You know, like your first crypto that goes to like $1 million and then it's by zero the next day. So I got to deal with that, but definitely wasn't into diversification as I am now. I had to grow into that. No, this ain't stock twits. I'm talking Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Forums was the OG internet for stocks back in the day. And that's where the pumps are. But that's why I tell y'all, and y'all think I'm an asshole, and I'm just warning y'all, but, like, you have to realize this same, like, social manipulation in stocks, it's the same exact thing as when I was a kid. That's why I try to tell y'all. That's why nothing new under the sun. So even when you go to, like, all these chat rooms, and then there's always a guy flexing, a guy posting fake plays, one guy selling you a story of the next. All of that has always existed. You know that, right? It's the same exact thing. Every chat room today is borderline exactly the same as it was in like 2001, 2007, all of that. It's kind of crazy to think about. But that's why, like, you should learn. You should have learned this already. You know what I'm saying? Like, people's intention and then the whole, like, pitch the story, sell the story, all of it, bro. This is all, yeah. It's all OG just back in the day till today. Yeah, even the news it just played differently because the news wasn't disseminated as quickly, but yeah. Yeah, this was back when Yahoo was supposed to be Google, 100%. Yahoo was the leader in the world at this point. All I know is Law Tart wins every time. I've been telling her, baby. You've got mail. All right, breaking out. Slashed all the put premiums. And that's it. Causing it go up unless you in the money, man. Individuals work today. So individual option plays, they're hella slow, but they're worked. The yen ledge, it looks sus. I like the yen right now. I think buying the yen is, and I told you guys this a while ago. You guys don't remember I was telling you how one day the bonds may not react, but the yen will? Yeah, you just lived through that. So I still like the yen a lot right now. It just depends on volatility. So again, I think the yen will work. If you want to buy a play and you're like, I wanted to buy TLT for safety, and it didn't do that, the yen has that feature now. But it's gonna fade eventually. But for now, as long as things get bad, the yen should get a bid. So I don't think it's the worst idea, but like I've been telling everybody, no matter what your idea is, the only thing that's going to kill you is certainty. Whether you trying to buy TLT, the yen, you want to even buy the dip, the only thing that's going to mess you up is being like, yeah, I can't be wrong right now. Let me put half of my money down. That's it. It's budgeting and balance. I think the real prudent people right now, they have ideas. They're not scared to shoot, and they're going to shoot. They're just not doing it like in an erratic way. You get what I'm saying? You all should be sniping right now, and you should be setting up little traps for the market. As long as they're not big, they shouldn't cost you a lot. This is a good market right now where little plays that aren't going to cost you if you fail, but then if we get a dramatic shift, those are going to pay out. But I only way you're going to lose is if you're like, yeah, I think the yen is it. Let me put half my money in. Oh, it's TLT. Oh, I think Tesla's going to bounce. I think Apple. I'm putting all my money in. Again, the guys who put 6 figures on Nvidia on the first dip, I don't think that's the worst idea, but you just went really big really early. So as long as you're not going too big on ideas right now, nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't bullish, bearish. I think there's a huge realm of possibility. But as long as you are not playing with certainty and being a jackass there, I think though that's a great idea. Ta-da! It's literally like traffic, dude. Like, have you ever been in traffic and then you notice a bunch of cars ahead of you are slowing down and you see a bunch of lights? That's it. Just let your foot off the gas pedal. I'm not telling you you can't drive. I'm just saying you don't be, I would not be speeding straight into a bunch of cars that aren't moving or a bunch of brake lights. And that's it. I think as long as you maybe move to the middle lane, let off the gas, and you could let that situation develop. Man, they just slashed puts, bro. I want one. I'm going to wait on the next one. But every time I say that, it goes without me. But I don't want it. All of this is a trap. Saved a lot of money by avoiding them. All right. That just slashed those near the monies. GME pop. Yeah, Japan, dude, Japan's tomorrow. I think, and that's the big thing, like deep down when the market's holding up, I'm going to just tell you guys now, fuck the media, because this is where they're screwing you over. They're hyping up everything but the thing that matters. Like that Japan deal is going to be big tomorrow. That's a real trade negotiation tomorrow with a major partner in Asia. So yeah, that is, I don't know, I'd watch out for those. I don't like trading in these like ETFs though. That's the thing that sucks. Like, remember we traded EWG before. There's a trade deal. Well, Japan, remember last week we heard that rumor and then nothing ever happened? It's going to be tomorrow. So Japan is going to be in the United States with the trade minister to work out a trade deal and negotiate. Yeah, I think we are positioning for that, but that's what I'm saying. No one's talking about it. But I brought it up on the watch list last night. We brought it up earlier, and I'm reminding you again right now because we're still moving slow. We're still holding up, but like deep down, there really is that major catalyst tomorrow. There's literally no bid on these. Okay, Tesla. The place stopped going up as much, but Tesla's still working. MP and TMC coming back. But yeah, I'd keep eyes on Japan and don't forget about that because that's going to be mixed in with Powell and everything else. That will be one of the majors tomorrow. Ooh. Killed him. NVIDIA near the high. I wish there was a better way to play it. Okay, SPY a little lower. At 10 cents. All right. I need to go to the bathroom. Oh, it's almost Euro close. Nice. Nice. Well, follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. I love you and God bless America. I will be right back.
Suggest maybe the investigation might target legacy chips. So those are the older ones that are used in cars rather than cutting-edge AI processors. TSMC appears strategically positioned, though, to benefit from this diversifying revenue away from Taiwan, earning goodwill from the Trump administration while potentially maintaining its competitive edge against Intel's foundry ambitions. For investors, though, watching this reshoring trend, many hope for a gradual, multi-year implementation of any new tariff policies, providing adequate time for companies to adjust their manufacturing strategies.
Christina, Reuters has some customs data this morning that shows that Apple imported iPhones worth about $2 billion from India to the U.S. ahead of the Trump tariffs. That kind of leads to a discussion about pull forward in semis, doesn't it?
Correct. Actually, all across the board, even for hardware tech as a whole, and it seems to be a concern going into the earnings cycle that earnings will be inflated because of all this demand pull through. You have iPhones, you have PC sales that have climbed. Even Best Buy announced in March that their sales jumped 8%, and that is the highest they've seen since 2021. So you have all of these various tech-related companies that are announcing about demand pull through, and that really raises questions about what will happen in the second half of this year, because essentially that demand is really just borrowing from future quarters.
Yeah, we were just here talking about that with Gary Cohn about all sorts of sectors, including what the consumer's doing with autos and phones. Christina, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Christina Partsinevelos. Still ahead, Bank of America shares are heading higher after the company beat earnings and revenue estimates. We just spoke with the CEO, Brian Moynihan. We'll share his take on the quarter, plus fresh reaction to President Trump's tariff policies.
Watch Citi today as well, rising after beating Q1 estimates. The bank, like many of its peers, also seeing some strong gains in equity and fixed income trading during this volatility. Money Movers is back after a break.
The good old bathroom break drop. I didn't even get a carbo. I only went pee. It was a longer pee, but yeah. Every time, I know. But hold on, I'm not done. I'll be right back though. I need to get this drink real quick.
of Wolf Research joining us here in the San Francisco studio. Okay, so coming up on the program, tech stocks are caught in this trade uncertainty. Trade. Here to break down his thoughts on navigating that turbulence is Ross Gerber, CEO and president of Gerber Kawasaki. A lot of interesting moves in this morning's session when it comes to the biggest names in technology. Stay with us. We will be right back. This is Bloomberg Technology.
Got my carb on.
The future of trading is here.
Future of trading is here. Now with gambling. Yeah, sorry, I had something in my throat. You know? Happens. But yeah, you had that little drop there. Nothing. I mean, again, BioArctic says EU approves Leqembi for early Alzheimer's. Check Biogen. What the fuck? Isn't Leqembi Biogen, or am I tripping? I got a Red Bull with no caffeine. Or no sugar. What am I saying? No caffeine. That is my drink of choice right now. Okay, so watch those plays. It sucks because every time you're here, those plays get slashed and then they pop right back up to the same price that I was eyeing. So every play is still exactly the same. So whatever, watch those puts that I stream alerted. That's the one near the money. If you have the ghetto ones, those will actually play out too. But other than that, though, we have not moved out of this range. So that's what I think you got to be careful of, because it's still tiny ass moves. Until it moves big, you're gonna be a victim of what happened yesterday. You're not getting that follow through. You're getting 10-20% if you want to risk the other 80% by all means, but like I'm saying, it's not really lasting too long. Until we move out of one of these ranges, I don't think anything decisively has happened yet. There's kind of a big move up. I know a little bit, the rebound. But get ready, though. 1 minute, we got Euro close. So stand up and do a push-up. I do need to do a hip workout. I found my resistance band. But yeah, Chad, stand up. Chest to the sun, flex the core, tuck the hips in. That's it. We still got, 4.5 hours left? Blech. So yeah, I still got some time. All right, you're still going down. Again, the plays are a little higher. I'm still just watching them, but nothing that incites FOMO just yet. But like I told you, those shitty plays, the shitty puts, every time you get a quick drop, they go back up. And then if you bounce, so I think I'm going for low risk to reward on there, but other than that, I'm not really playing it. I do think individuals have been good. I have a couple of individual names, and keep in mind your Netflixes and earnings. Yeah, boo. I think we're staying in the range because this is what I was talking about on the watch list last night, is that we've changed a lot in the last 3 or 4 days. I think we're moving past peak volatility, but the fact that Donald Trump is our president, we'll never really know, because he could turn it up at any given moment. But ever since he walked things back, even though people are saying they're uncertain and all of that, have you guys noticed that we're dramatically slowing down? That's all I care about. And I hope you do too, because I think a lot of you have good reasoning and there's a lot of things you're watching, but as long as we keep going really fast to really slow, that's going to mess up a lot of how the plays play out. So that's all I really care about. I don't think we're fully stabilized yet. It feels like you want to, but you're still in the midst of all of the danger. That's why I think ride it through. But I think that's why these moves are so weird. But it has nothing to do with the fact that just all of a sudden you had one of the biggest days since World War II. And then 3 days later, we're moving 0.5%. Like, it's very odd, but it also kind of makes sense that we're walking back from the cliff, but the terrain is still extremely dangerous. I think earnings are very important. Yeah, that's what I was saying last night, is that now if we kind of walk back a little bit and then the market is in this, like, let's hold up mode, and I think earnings is going to be the next set that sparks some things if they get bad. I think there'll be at least one bad earnings, but so far some have been good. Trump, Oman Sultan discusses talks with Iran on the phone. I thought there's no big green candles. And there you have it. Woo! Earnings might contradict the fear narrative. So far, they've all been holding guidance. It's very, very wild. I don't think Netflix is going to do that bad. Like I was telling you guys, don't remember I was telling you early, like Netflix doesn't get affected by tariffs. So I think Netflix is oddly going to be really good, or maybe not as bad, but I think it's when we get to AI and Meta, Amazon, and then all the little mini companies in between. Yeah, I mean, at any given, that's what I'm saying is, like, I think you have to respect it. That's why I'm like, believe me, I want to say that peak volatility has passed, but Donald Trump is your president. He could unpause a pause whenever he wants, and that's kind of the risk. That's where people are uncertain. You don't really know what he's going to do. Let everybody debate about, oh, what's his plan? But we don't fucking know. Then that is the uncertainty. You have no idea how he's thinking. And yeah, it's not going to be who knows what the math is going to be. It doesn't matter. The point is you have to kind of position for that volatility. So just keep that in mind, is that at any given moment, we want, any other environment, you would be like, okay, the VIX is coming down. Things are chilling out. No other news has developed. There's still some warning signs, but you would assume you've kind of dealt with the worst. But the fact that Donald Trump brings that volatility, that's kind of the issue. What do you think is more defensive, Spotify or Netflix? Netflix. I mean, I love Netflix. I've told you guys this forever, though. Just remember, you guys were trying to cancel it, and you were like, cuties, and who buys Netflix? I love Netflix. No matter what the economic environment, I just think it's a good service. I just think, do I think it's way too expensive now? It is. Literally, I bought Netflix stock when they were charging $4.99 a month. That's how much Netflix used to be. And I think the pricing has made them a lot of money, and they're doing good now, but that is the issue with it. But other than that, bro, they do good, man. And you're even asking in an economy, like, I think if you have a Netflix subscription, if you haven't already binge watched everything, there's a lot of entertainment in there. I mean, I've always been on it, man. That's it. No matter what. There has been periods where they didn't have good shows, but I was saying this. Again, when we bought Netflix, though, I just remember people hated it. But that's why we got it so cheap. We got it. It was like $220 and $190 was our purchase prices on Netflix. And why? Because everyone hated it. When we bought Netflix for the long term, I would argue that half of you, for some odd reason, thought that Netflix was going to go bankrupt. Yes or no? At 2022, after Netflix was dropping, some of you were like, yeah, Blockbuster. Nah, it's done. Again, that was why we got it so cheap. Because at one point, people were literally saying in 2022 that the growth story is over. That's it. They were like, yeah, no more. You're never going to be able to grow with Netflix. Now they're just going to make money, but no such thing as growth anymore with that company. But so I think it's gotten a lot better from there. But even then, I've always been a fan of their library. You're coming down. So watch out. You had that little drop in pop. No headlines. I mean, you've had a lot of reiteration on the Oman thing. But TLT, yep, that's been ripping with all of this. All right, a little lower. What would I say is the breakdown when studying the market? I don't understand your question. All right, a little lower. Premiums are at the same price. A little lower when I told you the first time, and then they're up 22% from, I believe, right here. So from their ultimate low, 22%. From the second set of news, it's about break even, or about down 5%. And now you have Euro close. First learning fundamentals, then moving on to make sure you're well-rounded. Yeah, I mean, I think the lost art of the stock market that everybody needs to know, but they have ignored, you have to know what the act is. Like, what is it you're doing when you buy a stock? You are taking ownership in a company, and understand what that really means, what comes with it, and understand fundamentals. You know, how can you determine if a company is good or not, or if it is valuable or not, and understanding value. Just like real estate, I tell people right off the bat, if you guys want to get in real estate and you're like, how can I learn? What can I do? Just start learning how to value a property. That's it. If you could learn how to comp out a house, that'll help you a lot. Same thing, I think, with stocks. Let's see. Okay. Not bad. Skyworks is my favorite chip play. No, it's just one that has caught my attention. That's why I brought it up. So I would not call it a favorite at all. I don't really like any of them. I like Intel. That's the one I would put my money on. But all of them, like I said, Skyworks is very interesting. But I don't really, I don't want any of the chips right now. Like, I want NVIDIA at a really low price, but till then, Intel or bust for me. I'm probably going to buy something else. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm probably going to go with a value or a healthcare before I end up with a chip name until we get a bigger correction, which we already went through, and I still didn't want them. So that should bring up a lot too. Those Intel calls are still green from Friday. Again, Intel was just at 18. What's a low price for you on NVIDIA? Like $10. I think that would be like 100 pre-split. Maybe $12 I'll buy. But yeah, I mean, I was looking at it the other day. Like, you know, everybody is clamoring over NVIDIA, but after the split, like, this thing, you'll get, even if you bottom ticked it, we're talking 50% to go from the bottom in the last 2 years to the top. So yeah, it just, after the split, I mean, it's still kind of up. Just remember, pre-split, like, this would be $1,100, you know? So that's why, like, even when I give a low price, I mean, that was still a high price at one point. You know, even if I say $30, $20, that was an all-time high for the most of this stock's history. why do you like Intel? Only just because the value. It's a great American company. The manufacturing ability is important. Chips are important, but that's it. That's just the only chip company that you're buying at 10, 20 years past rather than paying a premium for. Even Skyworks a little bit, but I wouldn't want to buy premium. So I only like it because value, but even its recent performance, that's why I'm saying I'm probably not even going to go for a chip maker. I would rather kind of grab other things. I think sitting this week out might be a good move. I think Easter, he has risen. I think the market will rise with it too. But for now, I mean, if we stay in slow mode, I just think you have way more opportunities to light your money on fire. I like Palantir. I just don't like it at $90. I think that's insanity. All of these talks, all of these companies, I hope you guys get it. We already did this. It's the same. My mentality is the same thing that helped you in the beginning of the year. Is that, like I told you, all of these names, they're up. So here's how it works. These names, when they're like way above, I don't want to buy them. Does that mean they will go down? No, it does not. And that's where your risk is. That if you choose not to buy the premium, it's just going to keep running and you miss out. Right? But on any of these names where I'm telling you, I'm like, yeah, that name is really high and there's still a lot of premium. If things ever go bad, you're going to be down a decent amount of money. That's the whole point. That's what I was saying is that, like, go look at all of these names. Even some of the ones we bought went down. But, again, AMD was the best example because that was down on the year and it was there. But you guys kept asking me about it. And I'm like, nah, man, that's really, really high. So, like I'm saying, did it mean that AMD had to go down? No, AMD could have rocketed. We would have missed out on it. But the names where it's like they are running off of a lot of forward earnings and there's a lot of value baked into it and a lot of it is hype, those are the ones that when things go south, it's not going to hold up. And that's what I've been worried about on some names because you're buying them high. So again, Palantir, even beginning of the year, same exact thing. If you got it here, you're still up. But dude, there's people that are still down 10 to 20%. Just because they bought a little bit too high. And then again, Palantir, if it does good, it's going to hold up. If they keep doing good, awesome. But the days that if there's a day where things go south, they're going to have to pay a lot more. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm worried about. I don't want to be exposed to that. So otherwise, I'm going to wait, find a name that I'm much more confident in, or that's it. OpenAI is working on its own X-like social network. Meta did not react to that. OpenAI wants its own social network. Kind of like Twitter. What's the best way to thank you for your long term? Buy me a house. If you can't do that, keep saving and then just tell a friend. That'll be the best, I think. So either or. Okay, a little bit of a pop. I like TTD. I think they're compelling, but they're up a lot too. That has a lot of premium. It's came down a lot, but this was like a $10 stock. So I like it. I think it's a good company. They're working on good things. Even then with Netflix, I mean, I think they're tied right into it, but they're a good name. It just again, they were $10, $5 stocks, so still a little bit of premium. You got a lot of discount, but they're in that weird zone between do they stay a $50 stock or do they go back to being a $10 stock? Good company, though. Bad performance as of late. Okay, you're going down. Low ticker picking up a little bit more. You guys realize SPY hasn't flipped red today? I think it might have, but yeah, you're only up a quarter now. Russell's still leading at 0.3. I'm going to close all positions in lurk. I'm telling you, not a bad idea. Like I told you guys, your way to make some money is by not losing it. And on these days, again, we kill it in volatility. When we're moving fast, we're going to get a hit. These are the days you got to stay alive by not being fooled into going too fast. You know what it reminds me of? This is what I did this on a game of 2K a while ago. It was a close game, fourth quarter, and we were up by a little bit. And I told everybody on the team, run out the clock, but make it look like you're playing. And it worked. So instead of like going slow and standing in the corner, everybody just kept passing the ball around, running, making it look like we were still trying to play. But we were really just running the clock out. And that's where I'm saying you got to be careful of that. Because when we slow down, the clock is just getting run out. You have to be aware of that and don't get caught in the middle trying to go a certain speed when the market's not allowing that. Again, every time you buy it out of the money at a certain price, you're implying a certain type of move. So if that move's not there, we can't take them. Even on the near, that's why the near the money's, they're implying a little bit, but even then, that still sends a message. Do you think NVIDIA can get, I think anything could happen. That's it. It may not, it may. But the point is, I'm not in the business of buying things that high. That's it. So again, I somehow walked away with Netflix and Meta in my YouTube portfolio. That's crazy. But we did that based on this logic. We never had to chase them. Something happened and allowed them to go down. We'll take it. So I don't care if I miss out. And y'all need to start figuring that out for yourself too, because that's it. I'm fine. I think I'm confident in my ability to build a portfolio without needing any of the top stocks in the world. I don't need to follow the hype and get alongside of it. Neither do you. But it's up to you, and you got to figure that out, because I don't mind if that's what happened last year. We still gained with the market. We did not underperform, but we didn't have to have NVIDIA, and we didn't have to phone. I was buying all value last year. So same logic when we get into this. You just got to know what you want to buy and wait for it. And if it runs without you, no worries. Who cares? But there will be maybe a time where you could get something for pretty cheap. And if you're prepared and ready to go, you start scooping them all up. It's not going that low. It may not. But point is, I'm not going to expose myself and buy it at a high price when I could get a better deal. You know, it's like telling me, well, yeah, I don't think houses in Beverly Hills are going to go down 50%. I'm still not buying a house in Beverly Hills. I'm going to go buy 10 units in Indiana. Do you see what I'm saying? And maybe if Beverly Hills ever dropped, I would love to buy. But I'm not going to buy it now at this price, and that's the way I'm looking at it. And I think if some of you guys, I think you might realize you have more opportunities if you got in that mindset. Yeah, bro, bonds this whole time. Bonds have gone up a lot today. And we haven't even seen a straight up day, but now you're getting lower to that Trump comment. Where are those premiums? 22 from here. And then, yeah, they're same prices here. They're actually, so some of the near the monies aren't even going up depending on when you position. I would buy Google, yeah. I'm just not going to buy anything, though, that is kind of crazy in the lead at a high premium when you have at least 10 names at like 5, 10-year lows. Okay, that's what I said, bro. That was weird. You went lower, but some of the premium prices I was looking at around here, they didn't go up. You made money if you got to put around here, but no. And then SPY, straight up. Hold on. It's doing one of those 2-point candles, but you are just moving up out of nowhere. I don't see a headline yet. A lot of names just got a green. That's kind of working. Damn, these puts are cheap. Calls are cheap still as hell. Yeah, that was a decent move. No headline, though. Have you ever had a business plan pitch you? I have. I've had several. I've actually invested in, I think, 2 Chad companies. So there's 2 Chads in this world. I didn't know them. And then I met them on the internet, like you guys have met me. And then they ended up doing companies, and I invested in them. 2 of them. So, but here's the deal. Both companies had profits. Yeah, premiums moved about 20% on shitty ones out the money. You're kind of climbing up on that. Wait till there's like a little pullback, but yeah, you just woke up out of nowhere. Again, even Apple, Nvidia. Yeah, something just snapped. Belarus and Russia ready to target NATO, says Kremlin spy chief. What? What does that even fucking mean? Yeah, you just ripped out of nowhere. Again, Apple, Nvidia took a candle. It did the whole like 2 points, but then that continued. It did 2 points in one candle, came back down, but then it actually went. Shitty calls 30% off the bottom. Near the monies kind of went like 20%. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't make a play on that though. Just there's no, everything kind of moved with it. Again, we're 30 minutes after Euro close too. I read that. It said ready to target NATO. What does that mean? Or? Interesting. All right. So yeah, like I said though, I have invested in Chad companies, but you need profits. I do not invest in pre-revenue companies. So that's it. So don't waste my and then don't also too. I had somebody try to sell me an idea, and they wanted me to invest, and then they would proceed to like email me stuff about my personality on random days. That's not a good way to get an investment either. So that one was not. That was also pre-revenue too. But long story short, that's it. Do I sponsor? What do you? I do sponsor like sports teams. Yeah, I would love to. I'm a big fan of sports, and I think if you are good at something, I would love for you to rock the logo, man. And I don't know. I like if you are pursuing something that you have passion in, I would love for there to be a bull logo next to that. Do I fund the arts, not profit? No, I don't. I buy art, but I don't really do stuff like that. I'm not really following, but off top, no. I've sponsored a bodybuilding one. Remember Daniel? He wore a Colt singlet. I sponsored his singlet. So he got a nice Colt bull one. There was no news on that one. The 2 news headlines, bad Euro talks, and then Trump talking about China and agriculture. Those are really your only 2 trade headlines today. You should be looking at properties if you have $75K in your long term. No, you should. You really should. Every day. Remember, like I told you guys, the idea is get a good deal. And if you would be surprised, because if you found one below value, I mean, you could just flip that, turn that 70K into 150. But yeah, you have the money to act, so why not? Why not look every day, spend an hour a day, and you'll be good to go. You can pitch a business plan, but hear me out right now. If you are going to make a business plan and try to raise money, especially to me, Josh, and it has not made you a single dollar, I think you're wasting both of our time. Does it mean that won't work? No. But for me, that's just not, I don't invest in those companies. Does that make sense? So if you haven't made a single dollar and there's not even 3 months of revenue history on this company, I would not waste your time writing a business plan and then emailing it thinking you're going to get some sort of funding. I don't think that's realistic. So other than that, though, it's like if you said, hey, Josh, I've been doing this business for the last 6 months, preferably a year or two, and you're like, I made $50,000, I made $100,000, $250,000, and this is what I've been doing. Here's my expenses. Here's my revenue. That is something I'm always interested in. You play darts at a professional level? Are you fucking with me? I've never heard of that in my life. That's kind of dope. I want to see clips. I did invest in a failed business. I have one investment. I just have money tied up in it. I had one where a good homie of mine, he made this company, and then he had like a co-founder, and then the co-founder was like super famous. So I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. I got in ground floor private investment. 2 years later, they're like, yeah, co-founder's sketchy as hell. And then my other homie left the company, and I'm like, where the fuck is my money? He was like, it's still there, but you can't get it now for like another 5 years, and then if this guy's a jackass, you won't get it. So yeah, now he owes me dinner. But yeah, so I've had a couple failed investments. I've even had some just pretty much the investment, you invest in them and then they just do terrible afterwards. That's the other one. Most people, I'd say 30% of people, you can't give them money, because if you give them money, then they just take it easy. SOC, 2.5 pop off the bottom. AT&T all day. That one's hitting a new high right now. $30. Well, that's just for that right away. There's other companies that fail and the odds are higher, but it's for other reasons. But I'm saying I'd say about like 3 in 10 founders, once they achieve like and they get money and funding, they just get lazy. And that's it. And then the business starts doing bad. NVIDIA is still going, whatever that move was. Yeah, NVIDIA 1A. Do you provide money or do I help with consulting? Just depends what type it is. I prefer companies that don't need me, but I've had companies, I've given them game plans, told them what to do. Even like some of the Chad ones showed them, talked about taxes and setting up stuff early. But it just all depends on the type of business. But yeah. You're over 20. Should I buy until it's around there? Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's what I'd be doing. Like if I had more cash, I would have been buying stuff already. That's what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily like afraid of things. I just don't have a lot of cash. I just know that whatever I buy today, I will be limited in the future. So I have to find a way to balance that out. SPY starting to move up. Comcast launches 5-year price guarantee for Xfinity. I want to play, but these plays don't have fucking bids. Bro. You have $20,000 in literal cash. How can I invest it? Stocks and real estate. So like I've been saying all year this year, and I've been kind of getting on people's ass about it, I would be shopping for a house every day. You don't need to force it. You don't need to rush it. I'm not telling you to make a poor, rushed financial decision, but I am telling you that the real estate market is definitely shifting. And if you are opportunistic, you got money and you're trying to do something like that, I would target an area and I would start combing through it every single day. And I would start looking for those opportunities, whether it's a rental or a flip. Point is, if you got cash and you could get a good equity deal, I'm telling you, people are, bro, I'm even seeing it in cars. What was the car I found? Oh, yeah. Does anybody want a Ferrari, one of them Ferrari hatchbacks? They're not really popular. It kind of looks like the Parasong. But if you want to, I could get you a Ferrari hatchback, like 50K off right now. The FF, yeah, 50 or 70K off right now. Because I'm seeing it in cars, too. I have people, it's a V12. Yeah, it's a great V12, honestly. I love that engine in that Ferrari. It's a great V12 engine. But it's the whole point is that little by little, just like houses, there's some people, liquidity, they just need to sell it, and they're not gonna, and they're willing to sell it at a lower price that's still up but lower. But yeah, like it's same thing with houses, cars, the expensive cars. It's like that. But you could definitely, if you're looking, you'll find them. And I think just do that with a house. You'll find one 50K, 100K below value. You could buy that and flip it. I think that car is worth right now. I think the blue book on that car is worth like 150 or 170. I think it has like 20,000 miles. I had somebody offer me one for $89,000 over the weekend. So when I was looking at that Testarossa, they showed me that one for 89 grand. Kind of crazy, yeah. 89,000 for a Ferrari FF or a Ferrari GTC. It's like 20,000 or 15,000 miles. It wasn't even that bad. But yeah, that's crazy. That's what I'm saying. If retails for like clean title was 180, 150 to 180, depending on how fast he wanted to sell it. But guy needed money. He wants to get rid of it. He said 90 grand. I'll sell it now. 2013 or 2014. Mm-hmm. Nothing's wrong with it. You guys just got to realize there was a time where these cars used to just sit. You know that, right? There was a time where cars would go down in value, and even when they were down in value and you wanted to sell them, they cost money. Like they would be lower. So that's just, don't forget. Kind of like when people are like, oh, they're selling bonds, or just if people need money, you know, they're gonna have to sell it at the bid. To buy properties, you're an international student. I would go anywhere where there's good wages and cheap value. Or it depends though, because like California, New York, you get good appreciation, but low cash flow, and then vice versa. Everywhere else gets good cash flow, not as good appreciation. All right, NVIDIA again, bro. I think low-key NVIDIA was part of this little rally because they just went up $2. SPY's coming back up. You're now back to the high end before you had that little flush. Miami is still very expensive. Miami is kind of weird. Like I said, you need to figure out your goal for the property. Do you want cash flow or do you want appreciation? Because there's many areas you go depending on what you're trying to get out of it. I think house prices will eventually come down in Florida, but the problem is that their supply is going up, but the prices won't come down. Everybody hasn't panicked yet in Florida, or it's still like the sellers are holding out big. So if you want cash flow, go for the cheap houses in the middle of America. So you want that cheaper places that have good job markets, high rent, low property prices. Those usually cash flow harder. Yeah, Miami, you're not going to cash flow if you're paying high price for the property. Okay, NVIDIA just what made you go up? We bounced up. But look, guys, another 2 hours doing nothing. I'm telling you, the play is to do nothing, save yourself the pressure. Again, we'll probably get a random-ass headline that might move us, and that's what we look for. But other than that, I mean, you're just going back and forth, and then that's it. Yeah, La Jolla is nice. The prices came down. La Jolla, Del Mar, still very expensive, but they've everywhere prices have moderated as far as real estate is concerned. I think most areas, except for like New Jersey's hot. There's a couple places with like low supply, and prices have gone up. But other than that, most areas have like slightly decreased. I mean, you're at least everything peaked in like 21, 22. Or 22, 23, and then it's kind of slowly went down from there. Cali taxes? No, I don't think they'll come down anytime soon. That has not been the trend. High ticker did slow down a little bit. I like how Tesla's still holding. Premium's chilling though. That's good. I like it, bro. That's awesome, man. You got a scholarship for it? Fuck yeah. That's good. It just depends though too, because if you're like, oh, I want the house to live in if we have to go anywhere. But there's some good properties. Look at Indiana. You might like, I don't know if you'd want to live in Indiana, but I have properties in Indiana, and I love it. I've been telling people on YouTube about a place called Greenwood, Indiana. It's already tripled, but I actually have videos. I was driving around in my car telling the Chad in 2019 to buy these $80,000 houses. Now they go for like $300,000-$400,000. But yeah, that's the thing I like about Indiana. It's mainly cash flow, but the areas that get nicer and do good, you might even get lucky and it'll go up. I know Greenwood. I own so much of Greenwood, it's disgusting. But yeah, I know Greenwood, Indiana. I think I do. I've never been in my life. But Indiana, Ohio as well too. There's a couple places, Ohio, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Those are booming. Buffalo, cheap as fuck, but lots of upside. But those you have to deal with a little bit. If I go to Nicaragua, that's where you're from? I know Guatemala. VIK on the high. Will Trump keep the Fed tax credit for Tesla owners? I don't know. Because I think he wants to show that he's not partial to Elon, but then I do think they want to get rid of that stuff, but I don't know. Dude, NVIDIA keeps going, man. Most of this green is correlated with that. What was that video called? From 2019. I want to find it. What's the video of me driving around showing you the Indiana houses? Don't tell me this is it.
To risk some area.
Yeah, I sound like a kid. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck YouTube. See? YouTube hates you. And then you guys are like, oh, it's members only. Oh, Josh, I thought you would do this. The point, you guys, I need less landmines, because I could put out all of this info. But if you guys don't watch it, don't share it, and then if I do something wrong, you only get mad and talk shit. Do you see how the risk to reward isn't favorable for me? Because some of this stuff could have changed your life, but why am I getting shadow banned? Why do these things happen? Because I'm trying to find you this video, and look, top 5 places you could buy a house for under $100K. 6 years ago, guess what? 760 views. I bet you could find any of these houses. They're worth 300 grand now. I went through showing you Atlanta, Buffalo. This is when they were all 70, 60, crazy. But like I'm saying, a lot of them just get buried or people will never see. But that's not the video I was telling you about.
And this is the, I
sound like a kid still. Well, I guess it was almost 10 years ago. I think they did. That's why it's very sad. Because I think people like Don Lemon and BlackRock, I genuinely believe they watched the videos and they took advantage of it. And then meanwhile, the people that didn't, the first half of people are like, you're a scammer. And then they'll be rude to me. And then that's it. And then they'll touch base 3 years later and they're like, oh, yeah. But like I'm saying, though, there's a lot of content that we have put out there. But unfortunately, like I'm saying, if you don't give it any attention, or again, if you guys add to the gatekeeping, it just sits there. 700 views on showing you $70,000 houses in the middle of Atlanta before they go crazy. I want to show you the other video, though, because there was one where I was driving, and this is where I was like, yo, you guys got to do this. And then literally I was just driving showing these $100,000 houses. Or you could email me serious offers. Yeah, do it. I'm down. We have some people, they work in stuff and they do that. And, if I ever do a deal, you'll get paid off of it. Cost them nothing. I know, but like I'm saying, just at the end of the day, I like sharing info with people, and I think it's very good stuff, but you have a responsibility to act on it, and you have competition. That's it. Just when I look back at things and I'm like, for everything that some people would have benefited off of and didn't listen to me on it, there was just a group of Wall Street bankers that made millions off of it. And housing was one of them. That's why and it pisses me off. Because like I was telling you, man, imagine all the Americans that can't afford a home, that has been priced out, even the YouTubers. I made that video. It was 2021. Rates are at 0, and they were all telling you it's going to crash. And then they all scooped it up and jacked up the prices. Yeah, prices don't typically go up that much, but that's kind of the beauty, is that the strategy I've been giving you has been the same. So before real estate was crazy, I was telling you this plan. And that should tell you something. So even with it crazy, it just helped us out, and it kind of highlights it. But I was telling you before, even if the properties only went up 10%, 5%, it was still a good way to diversify and build out and leverage the right way by getting into real estate. So that's why even in 2019, before any craziness, I was telling y'all, you should probably start looking at this. And you may not, you were like, why would I do that? And I was explaining it back then. I'm like, dude, 10 grand, 15 grand, there you go. Amazon asked sellers about tariff impacts. Wall Street Journal. And then Boeing's climbing up, about to go green. Real estate could crash. I don't know if it'll be like 08, but yeah, there's eventually going to be a downside. I think once the job market comes down, then I think you'll feel it. And then portray themselves as the good guy. I know. That's what I'm saying. Most of these like big conglomerates or even YouTubers, they did parade around like that. I'm the one who got banned several times. But amen, God is good. Either way, I think it was meant to be. And those of you that walked away with something and paid attention, I think that was for you. And I'm glad that you did. And we're still not done. So, but keep in mind though, as we move forward, I do think the next 5-10 years, it's going to offer another set of opportunities, but I would start planning now and think about it. And most of these plans revolve around long-term and real estate. So I would start getting comfortable with it, and hopefully we've spent enough time, 5 years now, you should have gotten over all of the reservations and you've gotten to see a lot. So let's go, baby. Get ready. Okay, coming back down. Honestly, you're just dancing, bro. No news, no nothing. Long-term and IRA are kind of the same, but they are a little different. IRA has less liquidity. You can't pull out an IRA until retirement. But of normal long-term, you can. But the whole idea of a long-term is like buying stocks that we hold for a minimum of 10 years. That's a long-term. Saving 10% and then holding for a minimum of 10 years. Because that right there, you're not doing it if you can't follow that. You could say anything you want, but if you're not saving 10% and holding for a minimum of 10 years, what the fuck are you trying to relate to then? You see what I'm saying? Because that's all it is. That's the pure definition of a long term. Saving 10% minimum and holding for a minimum of 10 years. Because if you're not saving 10% of everything you touch, what are you doing? Right? You could buy stocks. You hold them for 3 years. What the fuck are you doing, bro? I mean, that's not long term. That's just a longer swing trade. Minimum unless you use it to buy real estate. Yes, but the first two still apply. So, all it is. It's my money and I'll save 10% now. $10% of everything. Every time you touch a dollar, you should siphon off a dime into another account for stocks. If you do that, you'll become rich. That's it. That is literally how you get rich in America. Every time you touch a dollar, siphon off 10 cents of it into another account that you put into stocks that you hold. Because before you know it, you're going to walk away with saving more money than you've ever had, and then now you're applying it to somewhere that it could grow. And then wait till you get your eyes fixated on real estate, and then you're like, holy shit, I could turn it into that. Woo! The ice water challenge? No, like the bucket challenge? And you're just chilling. Bond's still climbing though. Guatemala. Total petroleum supplied to post-pandemic peak at 20.52 EIA projects. My email is tradingfraternity@gmail.com. Same email for like a decade. But yeah, that's how you could reach me. On that note, it's 9:30. Is this OpenSea?
Economies that
They're
really
talking NFTs on Bloomberg.
Theme of the tokenization
Are you
of
fucking kidding me?
Whether that's stocks or financial
in the
assets
middle
or,
of like all the tariff fear,
or
and they're like, tariff, unseen, the end of America, the end of the dollar, and now we're gonna talk to OpenSea CEO about exciting use cases of NFTs.
We've had markets for digital items in the past.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Real Cult News on Twitter.
But there's never been one-stop shop where you can trade all sorts of digital stuff. And that was the original value prop of OpenSea, and it continues to be the value prop as we expand beyond just NFTs to to tokens and all sorts of digital assets.
Devin, we got to leave it there. That is OpenSea CEO Devin Finzer. Now, coming up, the stablecoin designed for inflation protection. We're going to tell you about USDI next. This is Bloomberg.
Whoa. That was a little aggressive. All right, well, you're just meandering. We should play 2K or something. Oh, man. Damn. Twitch they wouldn't let your message go through, big homie. So I had to ban you before anybody could see it. So now just me and you know you're a bitch. Nobody else, though. See what I'm saying? But deep down, I know you're a bitch, and you know you're a bitch. But nobody knows what you said. Isn't that odd? But yeah, you could blame Twitch for that. Yeah, good time to do push-ups. You miss the old Josh? I'm the same exact Josh, you guys. I don't think it's, nothing's changed, bro. That's all. But game time. That's all that happened. The game is started. Is this your birthday? Oh, tax day birthday. We got another one. Woo! Oh, yeah. Well, happy birthday. Let's get it. I didn't used to monetize everything. I still don't. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the reality is you guys are being very, very entitled. I'm sorry. I know, yeah, Josh, you're doing this, but right now you're listening to me for free. You know what I'm saying? So, if you don't like the 1 hour of philo, that sucks. But I don't know why you haven't made the most of the other 5-6 hours, unfortunately. But it's good. We're going to keep going this path. So if you guys don't like it, unfortunately, though, I think it's a positive thing because I think we all need to break up. So if you don't vibe with it, go vibe along the way. If you do vibe with it, let's keep going. And that's it. And that's how we do it. But I've been very happy lately, and a lot has to do with who you're surrounded by. And I like the energy that we've been getting recently. You know, I make a couple of funny clapbacks, but generally, bro, I'm done with it. Some of you guys don't like me, and that's okay, but I don't think you should be in my area anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be around that negative energy. I don't want to be around vipers and snakes, and you don't like my beliefs? That's fine. I don't like yours. I don't care what you do, but that's it. I'm going to live in my little peaceful zone, but everybody is getting deported if they don't vibe. So, amen, baby. Amen. They're like, wait a minute. That's my line. That's my line. Best part of waking up is philo in your cup. And it's good. Y'all need to just calm the fuck down, though. You know why? Because now, this is all just setting it up that once I give it to you guys for free again, you're going to appreciate it. Welcome to politics. I take away what I already gave you for free, and then I'll give it back, and then you're going to think I gave you something. But now maybe it will remind some of you that we're serious about what we're doing here. So, yeah, welcome to Politics 101. So at the very least, you know I'm serious enough to take it away. You might appreciate it if it comes back. Yeah, TLT, bro. All day. I don't, again, just like that last Friday, I can't remember the last time it just went straight up. You decided to buy a new house now? Like right now? Had to clear investments. I just set myself back so bad. What do you mean? Well, that's why I always tell people don't sell anything until you're in escrow. Because otherwise, a lot of people, they make the decision and they're like, I want to buy a house. Let me sell everything. And then they start shopping and then they get left behind. So the best thing you could do is shop for a house. And then once you're there and you find a house and you're in escrow and your offer's accepted, then you sell everything and then you start moving the money around. Follow him for years, but just became a member. Let's go, baby. I appreciate it. To many, many more. Thank you for everything. You go above and beyond for almost no gain. Well, thank you, baby. Oh, I didn't even see these other ones. Ivy, why is this mature version? Well, thank you guys. Some of you guys are very encouraging. I appreciate it. Regardless of the money I make my own place, I still feel I got to pay the plug. Call it royalties, baby. And that's what, I don't know, man. Some of you guys are really, really great. You know what I'm saying? And that's why. And I like the good energy. And some comments like that, bro. I like good energy. That's it. We're just getting rid of the fuckheads. So call it a day. I don't think everyone's a fuckhead, but if you complain, you turn into a fuckhead. So get it where you fit in. But at the end of the day, man, I think we're gonna walk away with a stronger community, and we already have. To make no mistake, I think a lot of you guys have came through. But above all else, man, we got a long year to go. Keep it real, man. Keep it positive, and even then, by the end of this year, some of you will not be here, okay? Just keep that in mind. I will tell you it one more time. I said this on the watch list. By the end of this year, some of you who love me now are going to hate me. Some of you who hate me are going to love me. I'm not saying this because I plan on doing anything. I'm saying this because I have lived through volatility many, many times. This is what happens. Volatility creates an environment where regret is easy to grow. And people are going to get very mad once we end up very far apart from where we started. I really hope you understand that. Some of you have already gone through it so many times with me, I don't think it applies to you as much. But others, if you are not emotionally locked in and have not made decisions, oh yeah, by the end of this year, you have a lot more, your emotions will move with the market. So if I'm expecting the market is going to be completely different by day 365, some of you might become very different by day 365 as well. So keep that in mind. Let's go. It's Cosmo's birthday too. Oh, for Sunday, Easter. Oh, their little 420 Easter there. Oh, little happy birthday there, little horn. Oh, their little horned. Happy birthday, dude. Oh, their little 420 there. We still tight though. I don't believe y'all until you've gone through volatility though. So, like, if you watch the market swing 20% and you're like, I love this guy, you probably actually mean it. You know what I'm saying? But if I just got you like 1,000% UVXY, TLT, 15 different individual names, and you quadrupled your account, of course you fucking love me right now. Wait till fucking I make one bad trade. You're like, so yeah. We crashed one day and you played Charlie Brown on my birthday. Happy birthday. See, there you go. It's a good time. Good times. It's been 2 months and it sucked, but you're cool, then that's good. That's good, honestly. That means you got more upside. I'd rather have that than the people who get like enamored by the early success and then they get set up for a way harder fall. So that's it. Again, like I've been saying lately, and I think this will help a lot of you, man. Just don't derive too much pleasure in being for or against. That's it. So when you hit a play, you're not smart. When you lose a play, you're not dumb. Again, you're right and the market's wrong. Don't take too much pleasure in that. You're wrong and the market's right. Don't take too much pleasure in that. Don't get too much into the emotions. If you could do that and not feed into those, you'll be good. And I think it's a way better starting point than a lot of emotions. You got the Colt shirt? Nice. Yeah, they did. I think I still refunded them, and then we just sent them out anyways. It just took a long time. Again, we had a lot of issues and lags. Some of you were bitches about it. They were like filed a chargeback, even though they got refunded and like complained about it. So they're banned. I believe it was Ian. And so one of the Ians in here, you're a hoe. You are banned from every product we sell for the future. But other than that, though, anybody, I did send out a bunch of free shit, and you should have got refunded and all of that. So, yeah, just some nice little gifts for the Colt. Love you. Nasty work, Ian. I know, right? I think it was Mr. McCoy. Yep. Yeah, so he's banned from everything. But other than that, though, that's what I said. Some people, I mean, again, it's been a couple months. We did the trial. We didn't make it through. We refunded everybody. Yeah, and we just, anybody who ordered shit, whatever we had. Some are still going out, but we had a bunch of shit set. I just sent out a bunch of free shit. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, see, and that's the thing, too. I think what you guys will realize, this is what I'm excited for. Once we get rid of all of the nonsense and all the fake people, it's so much easier to give back and give back a lot to our community for the people who actually, like, deserve it. You get what I'm saying? You know, and that's what I want to start doing from now on. I think you should get a dividend for watching the Watchlist. You should get dividends for paying attention. You should have special access to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because collectively, the 100 people in here probably support more than 1,000 people who hate me. So why wouldn't we just invest into that? You see what I'm saying? I'd rather give you guys a bunch of free shit and everything else and have $5,000, $3,000 giveaways and we'll get paid to watch the watch list. Like, why not? So, again, some people, it does suck for them, and I understand that, but I am also thinking about rewarding those who are, you know, heavy into this community and have been with me for this long. I have another one. I just don't know what game we're going to play on Friday. So like I said, I have the quiz getting ready. I think winner of the quiz gets $100, but I don't know what game we're going to play. Trump he might be talking today. We are expecting tomorrow. We had quotes from the Sultan earlier, and then you got Caroline Leavitt in 24 minutes. IRA for dividends, great idea. Yeah, I like that. Because IRA, for dividends, at least you won't be able to touch it till you retire. But if you reinvest all of it, bro, you're going to be good to go. Just do what you want to do. There's always going to be complainers and BB. Amen. Amen. That's it. The only real difference is I tried to help every complainer and BBBB. That's it. I just gave up now. You guys are on your own. No one's coming to save you. That's it. So get with it or get lost. But I agree. So we keep grinding, baby. And that's why. If you don't need that, then we got nothing to worry about. Bro, we have done nothing. I'm very glad. We saved money by not spending money. And then bonds all day, though. I think that one's an odd one. You guys don't notice that, too? Bonds were green in the morning, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, they were a little down, so it did do the opposite. A dividend portfolio. Find stocks that pay dividends and then slowly add and build, and then just watch out. Anything that pays more than 7% is risky. That's the rule. Anything below 3% is a low yield. So it's probably not really about the dividend yield if it's below 3. That's why, like Nike, people don't buy Nike because of the dividend. You guys know that? It was a 1%. Now it's at 3. But below 3 is usually not about the yield. But above 7, it's risky. 7 is just historically, this is just like a rule of money. I don't even know where I learned this from. But it's always existed in money. Whether it's bonds, it's a fixed income rule, I'm pretty sure. But it just comes from the idea that anybody offering you more than 7% to hold an asset, that's weird. Right? Why would you offer me 10% a year to hold this investment? That's sketchy. Right? That would be like, imagine if I told you this. You guys are paying me right now for a membership, right? What if I told you I'm going to pay you a membership to watch me? What would you say about this channel? Then some of you who think I'm a pumper, that would make more sense. If I was like, yo, come here. If you watch my channel and listen to my ideas, I'll pay you. I'll give you 10% every year you listen. You're like, what? Why? I don't know. I'll give you 15%. 20%. You see what are you understanding the logic? You're like, wait, why would you pay me to watch? So if the creator in the company is offering you a lot of money to hold that investment, that's probably sketchy. And 7% is that threshold. Because after 7%, 10%, it's like you're going to give me all my money back in 10 years. So that's just kind of how it is. Anybody offering you a high fixed amount to stay, that's usually sketchy. That means they're probably going to rug pull you somewhere else. It would mean you got sponsors and need more people. Yeah, but like, who would pay me if we didn't have people? You see, telling you, it makes sense. There are all these like questions and possible scenarios just tied in now with a company and money. The point is there's questions, right? You're not like, oh yeah, that's legit. Oh yeah, that's easy. You're like, well, wait a minute. If you're offering me this high fixed amount, yeah, Altria's risky. Altria is very risky. Pfizer's very risky. This rule, I'm telling you guys, this has saved me so many times in my life. Just by understanding anything above 7%, the higher above 7, the higher the risk. So MO is risky. It's a 7% yield at this price. That makes a lot of sense. You know why? It's right at the top end, and now this plays up 40% from where I last bought it. That makes sense why it's a 7% yield. You know why? Because if you buy this and they underperform for a quarter, you're going to lose 20, 30% of your value. Why? Because I bought it that cheap a year ago. So, yeah, that makes sense. 7% is still risky. Again, Pfizer, they don't even have earnings anymore. Their earnings are negative. They're losing money. They're yielding above 7%. That's risky. Anything above 7 will always be risky. No matter anything in life. Even if a girl was like, yo, I'll give you 7% to hang out with me. That girl, she might be a man. You got hustled. If you anything, bro, anything offering you more than 7 to commit, there's something up with it. It doesn't mean it's a no, like, okay, no deal, no deal. It just means there's more to the story that you need to know about. Trump holds Situation Room meeting on Iran nuclear deal negotiations. Axios. Honestly, maybe. 7 or more bodies don't wife. Maybe. You might be onto something. Point is, 7% risky. Above. Doesn't mean you can't do it, because I'll show you guys a play. Believe it or not, IRM. So I bought IRM. I don't know what price I bought it at. Let's see. What price did we buy it at? I bought IRM in front of everybody way back in the day. We bought IRM at $35. Yeah. I think we got it lower, but it says 35. But when I bought IRM, it was yielding 12%. Believe it or not. So, I thought it was way lower. I'm pretty sure we got this in the 20s or something. Oh, it's because the dividend reinvestment. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Yeah. Our first play was like $32 and then like 29. Yeah, that's where we added a lot to it. Yeah, $29. I forgot about all of the reinvestment that we've done. So, but this was yielding 12%. So based on the rules, we shouldn't have bought this. So just because it's yielding high, it doesn't mean you don't buy, but you have to be aware of the risk. I was telling all of you at this point, this company was not really known. Even though I knew about it, it wasn't popular, they weren't doing good, and it didn't have the earnings that it has today. So it was yielding 12%. That means it was about to go bust, and then they turned things around, and now it doesn't yield 12%. So that's kind of the where sometimes it yields a lot, and it still ends up good. You know, my MO was yielding 10% when I bought it. Now it's 7%, still risky. But the whole idea is that it just tells you what to kind of be cautious of if you are working your way into something. So, yeah. Good little lesson recap. All right. And then, yeah, you have 15 minutes till Caroline. Oh, this was earlier. All right. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at The Trading Fraternity. Real Cult News on Twitter. And Chattadonia. Get a long term. Amen. Amen. UNG and Boyle. Fitch ratings, retaliation risk looms for U.S. corporates. Whoop.
Right now. And David, let's first begin with Canada. So effectively, Carney said, look, we won't tariff you if you keep your factories here. But if you can't export what you make from those factories into the United States without getting tariffed, then why would you keep your factories there?
I think it's probably kind of an olive branch here to maybe get some relief on tariffs overall. And really, if you look at who would be most impacted or actually get the most benefit out of this, General Motors, Ford, Stellantis, Toyota also. They make a lot of, all four of those companies make a lot of vehicles in the United States and in Canada. And as long as they keep producing in Canada, if they can send their vehicles from the U.S. over the border there, that's a big break for them. And maybe it's a signal to the Trump administration that Canada is open for business. They're going to do something that would help the Detroit 3 automakers. And by the way, not only help them, but let them keep the jobs here in the U.S. And which is that is the Trump administration's agenda with all of these tariffs, is keeping or growing jobs in the U.S. It seems like an overture from Canada to say that they're willing to talk to the Trump administration and
will
drop
it
some
work
tariffs
though, David? Because it does seem like the Trump administration doesn't want to keep American jobs only. It also wants to take those jobs back, particularly from Canada, which refuses to be a U.S. state for some reason. So I'm curious as to why the Prime Minister seems to be putting the decision in companies' hands. I mean, governments are supposed to incentivize companies and not threaten them.
Yeah, well, I think the Trump administration's bigger focus, honestly, in terms of manufacturing and auto jobs is really Mexico. You'd really have to see pretty big tariffs to get an auto company to relocate a plant from Ontario, which is where most of them are, into the U.S. I mean, you're talking about a couple $1 billion, rehiring a lot of workers, building a foundation and a parts network around it. That's a lot of capital to spend. And I think the focus is just more on Mexico. But, we do have bigger tariff regimes between the U.S. and Canada right now as a result of what
Well, speaking of Mexico, I do want to move to your big take, which is phenomenal today. It's all about why GM is doubling down on its electric vehicle mission.
I grabbed a Pro.
Even though it looks like the outlook, at least in the near term, is not great for EV purchases or manufacturers. Now, Trump would also like Mary Barra to bring back manufacturing from Mexico to the United States. Would she seriously consider doing that for electric vehicles, particularly, like the Volt, the Equinox?
Yeah, the tariffs have to be in place for quite a while. And there are plants in the U.S. where GM could probably move those vehicles, but you're talking about moving very heavy tooling from Mexico to the United States. But look, the Equinox and the Blazer, if you were going to move anything, I think they would probably be easier vehicles to move. The Blazer, for example, is pretty similar size to the Cadillac Lyriq, which is made in Tennessee. And you have something like an Equinox, smaller, but they do have excess capacity in some of these plants. And the Chevy Bolt, for example, most analysts forecast that being made in a plant in Kansas. Could you also make an Equinox there, or could you make it in Spring Hill, Tennessee? These are all possibilities, but again, the car companies need to see that these tariffs are going to be in place for a very long time, and it's totally not economical to keep building where they are to move.
But it was Carney at first. Protein. Drinking 30 grams of protein. Woo! All right, not bad. We have an event kind of coming up. I mean, you have Caroline Levitt in 10 minutes. Boeing shares regain loss after China cuts orders. It's not bad. Dude, look at this, bro. The pin. This is 3 days in a row now. So, obviously, today's not done. But, dude, look, ever since Friday, you did move up, but that was calm, considering the data. Nothing yesterday. And now you're, really pinned. So, this is exactly what we talked about yesterday. The odd part. Do you guys see the problem? Because, clearly volatility hasn't gone away. That's the problem, is that one headline, we're done. That's it. Whoop! You're back to reacting crazily. But for now, it's just nothing has gotten worse in the last 3 days in the weekend. You know what I'm saying? It's not as if you have pushed the fear beyond everything we have experienced thus far. So, very, very interesting when it's all said and done. But again, you are in the middle of we're walking the ball up court after just back and forth, just running it. But now it is crawling. Well, puts are cheap, but not if you don't get follow through. Near the money, if you're flipping it, or today would be a futures day, assuming the bottom doesn't get ripped out from under you. But, you you could get the money on these swings, but you're not really getting a follow through. Like these, we had, again, European news, we got paid. You had a Trump headline, kind of got some movements, but ever since then, just random ass pops and drops. Haven't made any plays. Bought some long term. Thanks for making it fun, man. El Rojo. I love it, baby. I think you keep doing what you're doing, man. Go at a good pace. Don't bring in that FOMO emotion. Get your long term. Start paper trading too if you want. Go get a Thinkorswim, and that way, when you hear some of these trade ideas, you could just play along and paper trade, fake money, get used to it. Play with the fake budget so you could stick to a real budget. But that's a good, I love what you just said, bro. I'm telling you, that's a good mentality, a good attitude. All of that is like thumbs up, bro. Keep that shit up. You're going to be good. All right. We're dropping a little bit more. Question, do we get the follow through or not? Yen is down because, remember, it's a safe haven, ironically, but in every safe haven moved except the bonds. And even though people doubted the safe haven of the yen, that shifted as this American exceptionalism has faded in the last couple of weeks here during peak volatility. All right, see if we start going lower here again, 15 minutes. Latest update, Trump is holding a situation room on Iran and the nuclear deal. It's a move down, but we haven't moved out of the range. You haven't moved more than 0.5% all day. So we're moving down, but take that with a grain of salt. I mean, if it does turn into something, everybody will get excited or we'll start paying attention. But I'm still not, it's not like I'm not paying attention. It's just every quick move down has been met with no follow through and a quick move up. Bought Pfizer. Feel you, bro. I've considered it. I've considered it. American exceptionalism. Old, bro. So just this idea, the straw and dollar, America's the best. That's pretty much what all the world was on at the beginning of this year. And then all of a sudden they started doubting us and then moving to Europe and everywhere else. But talked about it several times at the end of last year. This was like a major theme that you should have been aware of. Situation room isn't good usually, but I think it's just more invoking something about the military rather than like, oh my God, something bad is happening. Okay, you're going a little lower. That's 15 points from the bottom. This is the lowest you have been in an hour, and then this is the low end of the last 2-3 hours, believe it or not. So, yeah, you haven't gone this low since the little Trump candle there. What are your thoughts on having a bunch of trade deals? I think it's ready to go. That's why this attitude of getting away from peak volatility, I think it might be true. It's just we don't know. But, yeah, the whole schedule it's leaning towards trade deals and a lot of things. But, again, the market has already had some damage done. And, again, Donald Trump and his messaging and negotiating tactics, they're not one to speak towards calmness, you know? So I do think we have trade deals lined up, and those are going to be drivers. But until then, you still have to deal with what has got us here. Okay, you're going. This is the lowest you've been in the last 2-3 hours, 5,407 to like 5,402. If you break that, that is a new low of the day. SPY might go negative, actually. NASDAQ is right above 0.07. So no headline on this, but we're finally moving lower in the first 3 hours. Bonds were leading this the whole way up. But let's see what the follow-through actually does. That candle got a little bigger. Okay, we're getting there. Where's that other SPY play? Let's get a little pre. Should be anything higher than 209 is a gain. Let's see. Yeah, it's a scam. Nope. It's a scam. It's a fucking scam. So this is the contract. I'll just tell you guys. I stream alerted this one in the morning because this is the one. This is the one that I hit 40% on because I hit it early on the news, sold out like $2-3, bro. I got it for under $2. And then this is the one that I was saying near the money to watch, right? Remember, you just heard me. I was like 209. That's like the max break even from this one, I believe, right here, or one of these drops. So look, you just came down, lowest you've been in 3 hours. You're below 209, and you're only above this little window. So they're not even, that's a near the money. That thing's 3 points out the money, $3. So now the premiums are moving. I'm not saying there's not a play. I just want you to understand how the value is moved, though, because then that way, do you see how this helps you become better? Because you don't have to look at this and get FOMO, right? Because some of you are like, oh my gosh, it's going down, I missed. But I'm like, no, you didn't. Really, like, if you bought a put and were holding, you barely are getting your money back. You only made money, like, right here. This was your money-making opportunity. It was that little run here. Everything else now, you need the follow-through. It needs to keep going. Otherwise, you're going to give back all of this. So now it's going, but now it's higher than any of these other points, still lower than my first flips, which is crazy. So, yeah, just watch out for that, though. But that's what I've been doing. I look at these premiums. Again, if we get follow-through, now it'll play. But now that contract is inherently way shittier because now if it comes up and bounces, all that prop premium's gone. Because now, look, now it's 210. So, look, before those two candles, I said it out loud without looking. I said 209. That's what I was looking for. Look, it won't get above that. So that's kind of the problem there, more or less. Excuse me. Yeah, even the shitty out the monies went down. So remember I said the cheap out the monies? Those ones should have they shouldn't have hit, but they should catch the pops. That's what the out of the monies do. So when you get the random sell, the out of the monies will pop 30% and then come back down while the in the monies run, or the near the monies. But now even the out the monies are clapped too. And then look, that green, that's going to fucking wreck the premium. And now look, now it's back to 190. Yep. So not bad, but look, you're now at the lowest you've been in 3 hours, but the premium is borderline still within where it's been. And that 190, again, that 190 was just about 30-40% lower or higher now. So hypothetically, if you get halfway back through here, you're going to lose another 30% off that contract. So again, if there's no follow through, all you did was just pay the price you could have paid at any other point, and then now it just goes back. And then now there's way less time. Nothing's pushing it. Again, we're just getting these weird movements. The range is still tiny. Can I tell you the shitty out of the money, or is that asking too much? Definitely asking too much for now. Because again, it doesn't, and I hope you could respect, I showed you the play that I stream alerted and everything because I think it was relevant to teaching you guys something right now. So I don't think the out of the money is going to show you much, but I do think, now look, the out of the money is going to pop again too and then come back down. But I want you to see this. That's why I'm trying to. I don't want you guys to get bad trades. I don't want you to, be confused. And you're like, wait a minute, market's going down. How come I'm not making money? Wait, is this a good play? But you need follow through. So now it's working a little bit. Those plays came back up, and that if you have the balls, you could wait and play that 180 and flip it out at the 2. Boom, you could have got 30% on that. But that's a different level of risk there. I don't know. I think the news is going to be nothing. I think Carolyn Levitt might throw you something, and then that's it. Hey, man, I don't want you to gamble on them. And I don't know. This should make you guys not want to gamble when you see truly this isn't the easy one. And remember, I was telling you guys this weeks ago, and it played out. Look, and again, we made a fuck ton of money. You don't want the Trump chop. So when it's choppy, that's where you lose. That's where the plays suck during Trump volatility. But when it's just straight down and you finally get the blowout or just the breakout, that's where you get the money. So, like, the easy play is going to be once we get back up here and then just start breaking out. One way up, easy. One way down, easy. Chop, they're going to take the money back 7 on the table. That's what you got to be careful of. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, even then, even if you want to gamble, like, this should even be showing you. It's not like anybody's on a roll right now. You know, oh, this is the best environment. No, it is when it's fast, but when it's slow, this is where fucking people come to die. I think it's low liquidity. Make no mistake. I think it's both low liquidity and the uncertainty is still there. Like, I'm telling you, remember, I'm the Trump. I love Trump. I don't know nothing but love Trump. I just love Trump. Just so biased. He loved Trump so much that he profit off volatility because he loved Trump so much. He tell you it's bomb day one, but he loved Trump so much. So even with all of what I like about Trump and everything, I'm even telling you this man is borderline insane. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a way of you cannot predict this man. And I respect that. And all you have to do is just be prepared because it's not going to, the moves that he has caused, he has already introduced a level of uncertainty that cannot be shaked. You know what I'm saying? You can't shake that level of uncertainty now. Even if we walk away from peak volatility, even if things get better, there's always going to be this overhang. I mean, it's kind of like being with somebody who cheated on you. I have no other way to explain it because even if you forgive Donald Trump, in the back of your mind, you have to know he's insane. And again, Trump people don't get mad at me for calling him insane. I mean this in the sense of like, he is a master of like, you're not going to know what he's thinking. He could go and switch gears at any moment. And that is the opportunity. But when it's all said and done, that creates a lot of uncertainty. And now mix it in low liquidity and a lot of other things going on. It's like, where is this barcoding coming from? It's like, dude, people don't want to move. People don't know how to plan, more or less. So we'll see. He's 100% readable and predictable. I can't agree with that. And again, my whole strategy that's kept me alive is not being 100% on anything. So, yeah, we'll agree to disagree. He's readable in the fact he's unreadable. I could agree with that. He doesn't care about the markets, or he said that because you just saw a crash course in it. He had to say that, and he has to act like he doesn't because the market could bully him. That's it. I mean, even the bond market kind of bullying him a little bit because he wants to be independent. Trump wants to be able to do whatever he wants without having to answer to the price of assets. Most people do. This is called monetary autonomy, right? You want to be autonomous and be able to execute whatever policy you want without other interests kind of affecting or motivating you. So it's not dangerous. It's very normal. You got to think about it. China doesn't have to deal with it. Bro, Biden didn't have to deal with it. This is what I said on my economic video last year, and I hope you guys realize it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just sadly the media, the political polarization, that's what's created this. Because, dude, under Joe Biden, the state strength, exactly, Mayhem, exactly. Bro, the state strength is so high under Joe Biden. You are kidding me. You mean it, bro? Biden, you had 9% inflation and they know nothing. They talked you into whatever and everybody accepted it. Everybody played along. Joe Biden wants to do $4 trillion. Market didn't fight back. Janet Yellen wants to term out the debt in the most unresponsible way for generations. No problem. Banks crash. All they have to say is sound and resilient. No problem. You want to give money and start a war? No problem. Iran, Israel, no problem. It don't matter. Because, well, think about it. What would go on? In the last four years ago, no matter what happened, the media and politicians told you it was good. And as long as you aligned with that and believed it, there was no pushback, no assets, no nothing. Do you get what I'm saying? You had strong state strength. This was good. This wasn't a bad thing. So if you think I'm talking shit, you are uneducated, my friend. I am telling you that this was actually a good thing for America. Now, granted, some of the actions may have had a negative effect, but you were in a time where president wanted to do something, everybody just fell in line and supported it. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. That's powerful. That's a strong state. That's a strong government. And that's one where he was kind of autonomous, you know? He didn't have to worry about things going against him that would make his plan harder. Again, he didn't have to worry about bonds and the dollar and all these other things. So that was a good thing. But then now you notice with Trump, that doesn't happen. And now he wants to do something, policy moves, prices move, assets, borrowing costs. That starts to add pressure versus everybody kind of following a line and supporting. But the whole idea is autonomy. And if you have good strength, you could be autonomous. If you have fractured strength or you're relying on other interest groups or other interests, then you're not going to be able to be as strong. And you can't be as autonomous. But yeah, remember, we have a bunch of econ lessons on the trading fraternity. And this was one of them. I think this was one of the best lessons. Because this was before Trump was elected. I was telling you guys this. And I was saying that's the one thing about Biden that I think a lot of people who don't like Biden, they were not able to appreciate it. Is that was amazing. I don't think you realize that under Biden, bro, whatever he did, everybody played along. And you have not seen that. And that's, again, look at Trump now. That doesn't happen. You know, I'm telling you, even any other presidency like Obama had more pushback. George W. had more pushback. Even Clinton. And it was just like, wow. He really, under a historic time of major changes, the one good thing that Biden really brought was cohesion. He said something, everybody followed along. Again, America did something, everybody followed. Everybody worked together with that. But not this time around, or not with anybody else. And that was something that I think you had to you had to kind of you had to be aware of it. Why? I know why, because everybody benefited off of it in certain ways, and it was easy to kind of silence the opposition. But generally, I think everybody benefited. I think these other countries and these other interest groups that were able to benefit off of some of the policies, it was in their favor, and they were willing to fall in line and push it. They did not follow along. They were all crooked. You're tripping. No, that's the answer. That's it. Without being crazy, without being a conspiracy theory, without being unfair to either side, that's just the answer. This is a very academic look at what went down, and I think it's respectable. So do I think some people were corrupt? They were, 100 hands down. But that was the real answer. And if you wanted to take something out of this talk that could help you in the future, this is how you should be looking at it. Is it starting? No, it's not live yet. Oh, 10 minutes. Tripping my. Good up, baby. Oh, spy near the low. OST on the high. Okay, you're going lower. Well, I'll tell you, since you have time, I asked you guys earlier and it worked. So I'm not going to be too greedy, but I am going to remind you that we are going to Philo very soon. So if I were you, I would buy a membership. But I don't know if you have to today. I'm not going to give you FOMO. But we're not really getting anything crazy. But if something did crazy happen, you would want to be there. So Philo will be members only. And I don't really apologize for it because I have been live since 5 a.m. today or 6. I didn't feel another earthquake. I hope not. But I will see you there. We're going to move on over. I was going to move on over when they started playing, but we might as well do it now. Oh, David, stop! Take care of the Chad, baby. Mr. Stoll. Mr. Stallworth. Oh, Marnix, welcome. Amen. Well, there you go, man. You have been blessed by some awesome Chads in here, and some of you took the initiative. I hope I can make the most of it. And honestly, man, let's keep it up, bro. Keep up the work, and if anything, just don't get chopped alive today. You know what I'm saying? Make today easy. You don't have to, you don't got to worry about it. But in the sense of, that's what I'm saying, like today's not aggressive. If it did get aggressive, you should know the headlines, but if it's not going to be like that, don't waste your money in La La Land, my friends. So that being said, I think it's time to move on over. Below 415.